Yep, perfect.
There is no royal blood in this country. Nothing is reserved for anyone. It's all just out there, waiting for someone to reach out and take it. And the ones who do these are
the kings and queens in America. So ready? Welcome to Builders Training, guys. This is going to be the 8-week course of your future. So I thank you for trusting me with your time, and I hope to reciprocate that by making it valuable. The whole purpose of this is that you leave here and you get better. Now, I love feeling good, but this ain't about feeling good. This is about being effective, all right? This is not about style, so you're gonna hear things mess up, but I wanna make sure everyone's clear. This is 100% about being effective. If you don't leave and tomorrow, even an hour from now, you can be a better dialer, you're a better agent. I'm sorry, I know you had all the kumbayas and you felt good inside, but it was useless. So let's make sure we keep the main thing, and we begin with the end in mind. So I hope you came today with a question. Let that be the first thing you know here. Whenever you're going to try to improve, make sure you come with a question. Don't look for tell me what to do. Look for tell me how to think, right? If you came with a question, you'll be prepared, you'll be ready to go. So let's jump into this, guys. So Harvard Business School says whenever you're looking at a company, there are 5 things. I mean, whether you're going to look at a company, make an investment, get a job, there are 5 things that you need to evaluate about that company. First thing is the company, the need of the marketplace, the product, the compensation, and the timing. Let's look at FFL if we're going to follow Harvard Business School. We were established about 8 years ago, 2013, 618 million. With FFL, I'm going to throw this little plug out there. We are at #1 with every carrier. If you broke FFL in like 10 parts, we would still be #1. This isn't me talking. The last conference, all these reps from Mutual, from American Amicable, they said, who's #1? They said, oh, FFL. Who's #1? Everyone, when FFL is #1, and that's why we're who we are. But we are humble and hungry. You'll see people wear that shirt. What keeps us good is because we stay humble and hungry. We do the same thing that got us to 100 million as we did when we were broke, starting off with Sean Mike. Record-breaking growth every year. Oops, sorry, I messed up. Average agent makes about 120, 40 grand a year. That's just the numbers. Again, for those that work, this is an internal training, so I can throw those out. The numbers are in from last year. We did, again, about 618,000. For those that are new, those are just like numbers, like Charlie Brown's mom, blah, 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 blah. But that's big, guys. That is huge. We're gonna double it next year, okay? The whole goal is to go, if I remember correctly, we're going to, I think, 1 million. I mean, when you break that 1 million mark for any company, that means you have done something. So you're going to be part of that, breaking that 1 million, okay? Let's talk about the company some more. Why FFL? We're the disruptors. You've heard it before from Netflix destroying completely all those movie places, Blockbusters alike, right? Did you know that Netflix actually offered Blockbuster to buy them, right? They actually went, Reed Hastings, he offered it because he thought they were the big dogs. Guess what Blockbuster said? Nah, we're good. Rest in peace, right? This is a true story. So you don't want to be a dinosaur. If you're in the insurance game, you have a license, or you're new to the game, you just joined the new wave. And it's almost like, if you guys remember Alta Vista from back in the day when internet first came out, man, they were the top of the game, right? But they lost it. They lost that momentum because they did not transition. Everything transitions through a growth period. Airbnb used to be hotels. Now you just Airbnb it. Lyft, right? They almost took apart the entire transportation industry. Taxis. The only reason they're still in business is because the government got involved, right? Amazon, same thing with retail. And here we are with FFL. The old guard of insurance, of them stealing your money. You do all the hard work and they get paid and you got to be here for 10 years, grinding for us to, nah, no more. Here, FFL, Sean Mike says we're going to give it to the agents. And guys, you don't know the story. I believe one day they're going to write a story about Sean Mike and what he did. He's going to be a game changer. Like you write stories about Steve Jobs, right? He changed the game. I guarantee you guys, he sees Sean Mike in case studies in Harvard Business School because of what he did. First person, even from day one, he said, we're going to put the agents first, hence family first life. So for those of you that are going to come to conference, you'll hear a little bit about the story behind the story. And FFL will go from your head to your heart when you see that you're working with a champion of the people. It's a beautiful thing. So that's where we come in, guys. Here's why we're different. Highest paid in the industry, right? Fully vested day one. I was just talking to an agent yesterday. She's thinking about coming to FFL. She's like, well, I don't know. I don't want to leave my industry because, if I leave my renewals. I said, what? Wait, you don't take your renewals with you? She goes, no. I see. I'm like, we call that a slave. And the sad thing about that, Sheila, I said, is slavery was abolished a long time ago. You just didn't get the memo, right? Here you were vested day one, meaning if you work harder for a month, you write some business, you leave the next month, guess where that business goes? With you. Your renewals go with you. You go wherever you want to go. You earn extra money per month just for being a producer, right? For writing 30 grand a month starts off, $500 extra in your pocket. You think $500, that's not a big deal. Let me ask you this. If you were working a 1099 job, a W-2 job, and $500 was missing from your paycheck, you would make us think about it, wouldn't you? Right? So $500 is a big deal, but it then gets more and more and more as you go through. It's pretty cool. We have agency bonuses for your agency growing, as well as the end game is integrity partnership, becoming an integrity partner. I said it last week, I'll keep saying it again. Most companies, I would say 99% of companies don't get purchased, meaning all the businesses that start off businesses in America, 99% of them never get a chance to get a buyout. All they do is grind their whole life. They never get that golden parachute. You guys don't even realize you were born in a Ferrari and a Lamborghini and a Bugatti in, Siamese twins, whatever you call those. Because here at FFL, you have a golden parachute waiting for you if you just go the distance, right? And what's the distance? You don't have to grind for 10 years. Here, 3 to 5 years max. I'm talking if you just put your head down and you just grind, I'm talking 3 years. People are doing it 2 years, right? I mean, I'm telling you for real, if you just grind and put your head down, you guys, a lot of you, and again, I'm kind of deviating from the script here. Your dream machine is broken because you've heard this before. You've believed and your hopes were dashed. And so guess what happened to your dream machine? It's off. So we say something like, you just got to grind for 2 years, just sacrifice a little bit. You're like, I don't know, but that's that thief stealing your dream. Here it's real. It's not me. If you look at all the stories, Jordan Lowry, Grady Paulson. I mean, guys, I'm telling you, you're going to see integrity partnerships coming. And I'm telling you, you ask them how long they've been in the business. The magic number is 2 to 3 to 4 years, right? It's a beautiful thing. So we have that here. That's the company. Talk about the need in the marketplace. Here's the truth. Obviously, we're still I messed up there. The need in the marketplace. Life insurance is stable. It's predictable, right? And it is recession proof. Fact. During the pandemic, how many people in FFL lost their jobs? No one. Guess what happened? It went up, right? When things are hard, people realize the value of life, right? I'm talking, you're saying, well, what if people can't pay their bills? Well, if people are having a tough time now keeping their incomes, let me ask you this. When someone passes away, how much tougher do you think it's going to be? Yeah, exactly, right? You may not write big, huge policies, but you'll write smaller ones, possibly. But here's the beautiful thing. It's recession proof. These are the facts. People need what you have. I mean, 40% of people, they don't even understand the value of life insurance. 66% are underinsured, even the ones that already have it, right? So you have all these numbers that are working to your advantage. The guy that owns Amazon, I don't know why I forgot his name now, but he said, they asked him, how did you get into Amazon? And he said that he was working data for a company and he wanted to get into a business. And so he started doing research. And you know the reason he got into Amazon? He saw that web traffic was like up 3,000%. So he said, what could I do that would incorporate web traffic? Bam, he came up with, he saw where the highway was going. And he said, could I plant a store on this highway? If I did, people would stop and bam, here we got Amazon. The same thing here with you guys. The need, it's predictable, it's stable. we just had an old guard blocking the way from you getting in and making any money. Now it's a perfect storm. We continue with it. How expensive it is to replace parents, replace family members. We got 2-income households these days. Before it was just the breadwinner, but now, I mean, everything is changing. The question is, are you going with the flow? Listen, a lot of you come from great prestigious backgrounds. You could do anything. All I'm saying is marry all the skill sets that you have gathered and bring it here, right? It doesn't matter whether you've been a banker, you've been attorney. You name me a background. The question you need to ask yourself is, what would reap the biggest ROI with my current skill set? Would it be me doing what I'm doing? Or could I maximize my skill set? The biggest skill set is called work ethic. Maximize that and get my golden parachute and I'll be done. So I'm not gonna jump on that too much, but these are just facts that tell you, guys, you are in the right place at the right time with the right company. We continue with the product. We have massive amount of carriers. No more of this being stuck to a carrier. Back in the day, it was one carrier. And if they decline them, good luck. I have an agent right now. He works for New York Life. I know this is being recorded. He works for New York Life, but here's the deal. They don't care about the clients. We have options, right? And when someone gets declined, it's sayonara. It doesn't matter how interesting or how needy they were in the service and getting the product. New York Life just says no, thank you. Here, if someone is not eligible for one company, we have other options. We do the entire wheelhouse of life insurance, final expense, advanced market sales, mortgage protection, even med subs, the whole wheelhouse, income protection, right? Term products, final expense, of course, and then we talk about the annuities. We do all of the above. Now, FFL Compass crazy. We didn't show this last week. I mean, look at the time. We're already behind. I think this is important to show because this will help you understand. When I'm about to explain this math of FFL, if you don't get it, you're normal.
I figure 75% to you, Pom.
All right,
and 25%.
Oh, there we go. All right, we're gonna do it again because it did play it. Let's see if it plays. Hey, Anna,
I figure 75%
let me know if
to
the
you,
lips
Pom.
are matching it.
And 25%
so that I can,
divided between the 5 of us.
Can you hear that?
Crowbar, myself, Tom, and the baby. That makes 5% for each one of us.
I think the sound's going up.
Billy, you're cheating yourself. If there's 25% divided among the 5
All right,
of you,
we can't hear that. That's okay. It's a pretty funny. It gives you the understanding, but that's okay. So for those of you who are brand new, and by the way, we're gonna have new people every week. Repetition is the mother of all skill. If you're saying something like, well, I saw this before, you're gonna see it again. There's an old joke about a preacher who, it was playing. Okay, perfect. There was an old joke about a preacher who preached. He was a new preacher. He preached a sermon. The next week came by, he preached the same sermon. And the third week came by, same sermon. And someone finally said, hey, preacher, why do you keep preaching the same sermon? He goes, well, when you guys get it, I'll go to another sermon, right? Simplicity. The hardest thing about FFL is understanding how simple it is. If you're having trouble in FFL, guess what? It's because the simple stuff that I'm going through, you don't get it yet. Somehow you are overcomplicating it. So you're going to hopefully be in a different vantage point when I go through it. Maybe one day it'll click. Back what I'm saying, the comp is easy. We don't start anyone off under 100% here, right? But in order to grow, you simply do the volume and you go up. So if you look at 95%, no one starts there. If you want to go from 100 to 105, do 15 grand for 3 months in a row, and you get promoted 5 points up, a bump up. Again, 20,000, 3 months in a row, so forth and so on. And again, you have it in your control. No one needs to, check off or sign off. You don't have to do double backflips or recruit this person or that person. No, this is in your complete control. Now, in order to build an agency, the max you can go, by the way, is 130% by yourself, right? That's the max you can go. In order to actually go higher, we go as high as 145. You have to build an agency, which, hey, 130 is awesome too. And agency building, meaning that's the amount of volume we've done. And here's another fact for those that are comparing agencies and why FFL. A lot of these other agencies, they post their numbers on submit, meaning people submitted a policy. It may or may not get approved, but they're going to submit numbers as if that's what they got. All these numbers, like what we post, those are issue paid, meaning agents got paid. This isn't just, frivolous number. This is real cash money that got issued to agents. And that's a huge difference that you guys won't know. Next one, we're in the right direction. Look at that. We're just going up. So if you were wondering if you're in the right place, right time, you are. So I want to think of it like this. if you were the fattest person on God's green earth and you were looking at a train and you got on this train that was going 800 miles an hour going east, as fat as you are, hey, listen, I'm just being real, right? What direction would you be going? East, right? How fast? 800 miles an hour. That's what FFL is. It's a fast moving train, which again is our greatest strength and our greatest weakness. You don't want to get left behind, sleeping while the train's going. You want to be moving. You want to be enjoying. You want to be participating, and that's why you're here. So you're in the right place at the right time. So what is the engine? The engine that makes this tick, that is the 12 core commitments. This is the system that's going to be the difference maker for you. I'm going to go through it. If you're brand new, jot these down. If you don't have them yet, it's 30 appointments a week full time, 20 appointments because of no-shows. You close half of those, and that solves itself. If you're part-time, the same thing. Now, for those that are doing, this is for numbers that are going in the home. For those that are doing telesales, it's 1,000 dials or $1,000, whichever comes first. For telesales, you dial every day. That's just the commitment. Once you make $1,000, you can stop, do it tomorrow. So it's either, because it'll take you a little bit more dials. So again, if you needed a litmus test, 1,000 dials, meaning each time you hit the green button for the dial out, that's a dial, right? So you triple dial, you call one lead 3 times, that's 3 dials. 1,000 dials or $1,000, whichever one comes first. That is how you do it in telesales. There is no way you're gonna do 1,000 dials and not sell somebody. I'm sorry, there's no way. All right, let's go through the 10 core commitments. So first one, submit the process of 100, invest in leads weekly, commit to dial days, run 15, 30 appointments a week, sharpen your sword daily, 2 exposures a day, attend your weekly builders training, attend a quarterly sales conference, national convention per year, commit to personal development, find a workout partner, and be here a year from now. Guys, what you're looking at, this is a crystal ball for you. If you just came into this game and you're wondering, Madame Esmeralda, what percentage, do you see success in my future, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? She has little Darmon. And you could literally look at that and you're going to grade yourself. How often do you do that? So did I submit to the 100? And we'll talk about that. That's getting 100 appointments. How often on a scale of 1 to 10 do I invest in leads every week? If you don't, that's 0. If you do, that's 10. And you go on. How often do I commit to dial days? If you do, that's 0. Or maybe you do half the time, maybe that's a 5, right? You add up all those numbers and you divide by 12. That'll give you your percentage of success here. And for some of you, it's a good number. Others, it's a bad number. But hey, at least you know the truth, right? Because the truth is, listen, I was taught, you might as well begin with the truth because you're going to end up with it, right? Why not know right now? At least you know, wow, I got a 50% chance of succeeding here, 50-50, huh? Right? Hey, it's better than nothing, but now you know how to increase it. So that's why this is for. It'll keep you on track to know exactly how you need to scale your growth and scale your business. So let's rush right into it. So this one, hopefully the audio works this time. What is the process of 100? How do you do it? Just jump straight in.
How was the transition moving over from a different type of insurance sales to this?
It's different. I'm still learning. I think the biggest thing is just going all in from day one, figuring out, not being afraid to mess up, getting out in front of your failures is going to happen.
You just jump straight in.
I purchased $1,500 worth of leads. It was on a Saturday, started dialing on Sunday.
What type of leads are you working?
So right now I'm actually doing instant internet.
What do you guys say to the agents that say, oh, instants don't work or CRM leads don't work?
Yeah, I mean, for any excuse, I would tell them to look at their work ethic. How often are you actually working on your craft? Are you actually dialing? It takes work. To me, it's worth it. You spend $11, make $1,000.
There we go. Just jump right into it. If you didn't get the note, he says jump right into it. That's the key. Don't dibble dabble. All right. I know I keep giving these examples, but for me, I'm so visual. And I'm just so visual. You're one of 2 kids. And some of you moms that have these kids, you know who you are. One of these kids goes to the pool summertime, right? They dip their toe in the pool slowly, wondering if it's cold, and then they slowly dip their ankle and then their calf. And man, it is excruciating watching it because you know it's cold. That's one child. The other child, he goes, hey, mom, watch this. He does a little cannonball, right? Splashes everybody. He's cold about 3, 4, 5 seconds. But then he's having fun. It's okay. The cold was the same, but how long was it? Was it excruciating? Are you elongating your process of 100? Just get through 100 as fast as possible. I mean, it's 100 appointments. And that's some of you know my story. The reason that this made so much sense to me is I had, by the time I got an FFL, I had like 5 surgeries because I had a tumor, and I don't want to go on into it. But the first time, man, it sucked. I mean, my knee was cut up and I couldn't move. It hurt. I couldn't sleep. I took drugs just to sleep. I mean, I remember one time in the hospital bed, it hurt so bad. I mean, I'm trying to be a man and all, but I was crying. Like I wish I could just leave my body at that moment, right? So, you know, the next surgery came and I kind of got used to it. I realized, okay, listen, the first month and a half is just going to suck. So if I get through the first month and a half, I'll be cool. That's what I thought about it. There's a certain price you got to pay no matter what it is. In FFL, it's 100 appointments. Now, if you choose to do that in 6 months, that's on you. Or you can do it in 6 weeks, right? Or you can do it in a month. That's on you. So I just want to get through it as fast as possible. This document will help you get through it. This is called a phase 1 document. First step in this phase 1 is to activate your why. Let's see what that means.
The why has to be greater than that knockdown. And I love it. Buster Douglas got knocked out. Nobody ever got knocked out by Mike Tyson and ever got back up. It was almost a 10 count. He was stumbling. They were 4, 3, 2, 1. And ding, ding, ding. Saved by the bell. He goes to his corner. The whole world is like, yep, that's it. Once he comes back out, that's it. Mike's gonna just hammer him. And exactly that. Mike Tyson came out like, I got him. I got this kid up against the rope. Listen to me, many of you right now, life's got you up against the rope. You can't give up. You can't give in. Listen to me, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And if life's got you backed up, I need you to do what Buster Douglas did. Buster Douglas started fighting back. The world was shocked. Goliath has been knocked down. What happened? And they went to Buster Douglas and they asked Buster Douglas simply like, what happened? And Buster Douglas said, listen to me, it's real simple. Before my mother died, she told the whole world that I was going to beat Mike Tyson. And 2 days before the fight, my mother died. Buster Douglas had a decision to make. When his mother died, he could die with his mother, or he made a decision, I can wake up and I can live for mom. And he knocked Mike Tyson out simply because his why was greater than that punch. His why was greater than defeat. His why was greater than his trial and his tribulation. And I'm telling you, if you don't know what your why is and your why isn't strong, you're going to get knocked out every single day.
That is the 100% truth. We can stop this training right now because that would honestly be sufficient for you to do what you need to do. Your why is the engine of your business. In case there was any confusion, let me just be clear. This is not easy. It's just simple. If it was easy, everyone would do it. I know I keep going on these tangents, but you just got to know this. I just kind of speak from my heart. Some of you come into this game wanting it to be easy. You call 2 leads and wow, they didn't just sign up. They didn't have their checkbook open for me. Well, let's kind of reevaluate that. Don't want what you don't want. If you bought 10 leads and all of them said yes, or 6 out of 10 of them said yes, 8 out of 10 of them said yes, I'm telling you, the opportunity would be over. Like, you realize that, like, there would be no opportunity anymore. You know Mickey D's? To buy into Mickey D's, guess how much it is? $1 million, right? Some of you don't know. The opportunities that are like simple and easy almost, as long as you just get in, they are, the barrier of entry is beyond you. So guess what? If you bought 10 leads, they all signed up. You recruited someone, they bought 10 leads, they all signed up, or 8 leads. I tell you, after like 4 people, it became over. Instead of FFL being just work ethic, guess how much it costs to be an agent? Just to be an intern, just to get in FFL, you have to pay a franchise fee now. You know, this isn't just FFL, this is just business. So what I'm telling you is, guys, don't want what you don't want. It is hard on purpose. If it wasn't, the opportunity would be over. Okay, so your why needs to be critical. What is it that's driving you, right? You have to be able to get it pinpointed. Some of you, you can't even articulate it. That's why you're struggling, because some of you, one little blows you out the game. For me, I was sick and tired of the monkey in my back still jumping on my back with that money game. I wanted to knock that money game out because I had people that depended on me. I came from Africa, and this is just me, guys. I came from Africa. I remember when I came to America, it was a dream come true. I had been through a lot, starvation, not starvation. I've been really hungry. I'll say that much because I wasn't like those kids where the flies are running. I wasn't like that, right? But it was hard. I remember walking places and I mean, just not having what we have. And for me, being in America, if you're in America and you don't have a business, in my opinion, you have given up your right to be free if you're in America. So my why was huge. What is your why, right? What is that about? Let me help you get that out because you need to ask the right questions to be able to peel that onion. What does your why keep you up at night? This is how you kind of test its pulse. Does it make you cry? Does it inspire you? Does it wake you up at night, right? Do you dream about it? Are you obsessed with it? If you're not a just always want to make a little extra money, okay, that's cool. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not going to be enough because this is not easy. This is hard and it's hard on purpose. Now, hard is all relative. Hard you can navigate. Hard you can get better with. You could just work harder and it's not hard anymore. Anything you did in the beginning that you're good at now was hard in the beginning. Walking was hard in the beginning. Talking was hard, right? Writing, I don't care what it is. You are an expert and you are disrespecting what it takes for mastery. If you look at a great opportunity and you expect it to be easy, it's just not. If the question is, are you willing to do the work for it? And how do you know that? Is your why strong enough? And if your why is not strong enough, you will quit and get knocked out. Again, FFL is not one of those things that is for everybody. When I do my interviewing, I told a gal today, I'm sorry, I don't think this is for you. I don't think we're a good fit. All of you on the call today, the reason you're here is because you're a good fit. So when I'm talking to you about this, listen, I'm not in the business of convincing you to stay. I'm only in the business of helping you say, listen, you can do this, but you have to have an engine powerful enough to power you through all the sludge, all the mud. But yes, you can do this. You are more than capable. Going back to the why, long-term goal, short-term goal, 30-day goal. How much would get you excited? What's a financial figure? 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand. Now that's big numbers, but most people can't even think past 3 times their income. So what's a number that would actually motivate you? That is something that you could actually, consider, right? What bill could FFL pay that would excite you? Just focus on it, right? What event or activity could FFL cover financially to excite you? Maybe it's taking someone out to go to Jamaica, right? Whatever. What feeling could FFL help you get? Feeling of power, feeling that you accomplished something. What is that? Now, this is on purpose. I'm not going through this because I'm bored. I'm going through this. I'm hoping that you'll write this down, right? Write down your why. And here's what you're going to have happen. It'll get better and better and better. You will get actually more better. When you read your why, man, it'll empower you. When someone does something, it'll be like a little shield. It'll just knock right off of you. That's how you know your why is powerful. Now, again, I'm speaking all these words and you're going to be one of 2 schools. The one school is one person that's humble. You're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to do it. The other school is the one that knows it all. They've been through much experience. And this is just blah, 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 blah. Your choice. It reminds me of the guy that this guy sent his son to Aristotle to get trained. He's this, prince. He expects everything. He's been giving everything his whole life. So Aristotle says, go ahead and go in the water and I'll help you. And he goes, okay, that's kind of weird. So the guy goes in the water and he grabs the guy's head and he pushes his head down and he has him down, head fully submerged. The guy can't breathe. He's like, yeah. And then eventually he lets him off and King's like, guards, blah, blah, blah. And it's, why'd you do that? And Aristotle tells him, listen, when you want knowledge as bad as you want air, that's when you're ready to learn. Some of you got so much feel that you think you know that no one can help you. No one can tell you nothing because you know it all, right? You got to empty that stuff. And how are you going to do that? Well, if you're not willing to do the basics, the wax on, the wax off, I'm telling you, your why is the engine. Even if you didn't have this training today, if you just stopped at the why, you would figure it out. You would. There's a lot of challenge in FFL, but you would figure it out because your why was powerful. It's amazing the ingenuity that the power has. Here's a little 5-year goal. What would you do with your time? You're making 6 figures plus in FFL, which is the minimum, right? You'll be making 250 grand as an integrity partner with nothing, right? You got your bills paid. Where would you travel? Like, what would be the first place you would travel? Again, doesn't matter money. You got money in the bank. Where would you go, right? What charity would you donate to? Who would you serve? Where would you go to serve? What car would you buy? Again, money's not an issue. Some of you are still limited. You got that limited thinking. You don't have the abundance mindset. Some of you think of you're holding back. I've had people think like, when you think bad of rich people, that's what's holding you back, by the way. There was this one rich person, he pulled up in this Lambo, and this guy says, man, how dare you pull up in this Lambo when people are suffering in the world? He goes, huh. He goes, you know what? And then, you know, he wasn't trying to brag. This guy didn't even realize, guess who was the person that donated $1 million to the charity down the street so that they can feed the homeless? The same guy that had a Lambo. He goes, my thinking is so abundant that I feel that there's enough in the world where I can have enough to buy a Lambo and still serve the people. Why does it have to be one or the other, right? Let's not have scarcity thinking, have abundance thinking, right? So what I'm saying is stop holding yourself back. I'm saying turn the drain machine on. What would you really do if money wasn't an issue? Because you either live in abundance or you live in scarcity. And part of your problem is a mindset issue. You live in scarcity, so you're having trouble busting through all the problems you're getting. So I'm hoping this is clicking for somebody. If it is, put a thumbs up on the comments. Let's go. What kind of house would you buy? What food would you eat? Would you eat healthy? Would you eat vegan? What would you eat? That's stage one. You got to spend time on the why. That is the most important. Next stage, B, you got to build cash right now. Cash flow is what's going to fund your why. If you go back to the why, I want you to sit down and I want you to add up and put a dollar figure on all of those numbers that you just said, all those dreams that you just had once your dream machine is back on. And it's a big number if you dream big enough. Now this needs to build it. This B needs to build and fund your why. 30-day story is what you're trying to create. You want to create a story that turns everyone on fire, gets people excited. How do you do that? Well, massive activity. Activity is it'll solve anything. Here's what I know. Massive activity will reveal your weaknesses, Massive activity will also heal your weaknesses. It'll do the same thing. So you do a lot of activity in FFL, you're like, man, I suck. Like I'm getting killed on the phones, right? I'm going through, it's revealing your weaknesses. That's what it does, right? But then as you keep doing it, all of a sudden it's doing the same thing, it's healing it, right? And it's amazing how God works. If you notice this, a lot of the times he has to break you down to build you up. Think about that, right? Anyway, you want to start off and buy leads. Decide the date now. When are you going to buy the leads? How much are you going to buy, right? And then already plant your foot ahead. When will be your next purchase for the leads, right? Your dial time. When are you going to start dialing? And if you say 7:30, it better not be 7:31. It needs to be 7:30. I don't care if the house is burning. You take your phone with you, you run out the house, right? Whatever. I'm being serious though. Protect your dial time. Don't let anything, that is your golden goose. Protect that goose. What are your goals for appointments? What are your run days? Decide right now. Again, remember, you control your schedule, not the other way around. You know when you're available, so you're going to be booking appointments for those days. And the difference between whether you'll book someone or not is how much value you give. We're going to be talking about dialing soon, so I'll have to kind of speed it up a little bit. You're simply keeping it simple. You're buying leads, dialing leads, and you're running appointments. Now, we know this. We talked about this earlier. Part-timers make, this is old, assuming that it was a lower percentage, and it's actually increased. The average sale right now is actually $100, and the person's at a 90% contract. So you make a lot more. But just to give you a visual, if you want to take a picture of this, do so. Some of us just need those guides to keep us on the right track. Full-timers, part-timers, there is no way. I guarantee you, there's no way. I'm telling you guys, there's no way you can call the leads and not get paid. You can't convince me. I remember Sean Mike, there was a guy, he's an integrity partner now. You'll meet him. I forgot his name now. I forgot Alzheimer's disease. He just became an integrity partner. He played baseball, professional baseball. He got into FFL and he said, I called these leads and no one picked up. So he flew down to, I forget where they were, the office to see if this was real. If he got scammed. Sean Mike's there, these guys are there. And he's complaining, these leads don't work. So Sean Mike says, which leads? He goes, he gives him a sheet because he had called a few leads in a local area. Sean picks up the phone and another guy. They call the same leads that guy just called and they book the appointment. Right? So the only thing I'm asking you guys is saying, listen, if this was like a unicorn thing where the only people making money in FFL were like the top dogs, I mean, they had years of experience. I get it. You're right. You are uniquely defective. But come on now, when you got folks that don't have the education you have, they don't look as good as you, they don't talk as good as you, and they're doing it. Dude, here's what blew me away. I saw a guy, listen, I'm a lover of everybody. I saw a guy, he was from Afghanistan, barely spoke English. He did 400 grand that year. Man, I was like, can you imagine him on the phone? Hello, my name is blah, blah, blah. Hey, I'm getting back to you about that life insurance. I mean, listen, no, I'm just saying he had an accent, right? People distrust people. Dude did 100 grand. And you know what, how he did 100 grand? He said this. He had some trouble on the phones initially. Here's how his why was so powerful. The reason he got in, his brother was selling it, and he asked his brother, hey, can I sell it? Brother said, nah, you ain't good enough. You don't got what it takes. So he got his license, and he went in, and he was having trouble on the phone. Guess what he did? He said, you know what, man, forget this. He started door knocking, and he made 400 grand door knocking, because when he got in the home, people saw how much he cared about them. They didn't care about the accent. They knew he was there to help them. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, just don't psych yourself out.
Try to get through your first 100.
Dang it. Let's get through one more time.
Try to get through your.
I promise y'all get this.
Try to get through your first 100 appointments as fast as you can, because there's a lot of different things going on. People always get a little bit too caught up in product knowledge and how to present, what's the best script to use, how do you deal with objections. But none of this really matters that much, because you can study all day long, but if you sit at home and you just like watch videos and you study the scripts, you don't make any money that way. Okay, it'll help prepare you, but it also could psych you out.
Don't get psyched out. We call it analysis paralysis. If I want you to notice some things, it's called avoidance behavior. When you start doing things to avoid doing the hard work, like avoid getting to the pool. When I was a soccer player, one of the things I to avoid was the polar pool. Oh, hated it. Is this pool after practice? You've heard of cryogenics. You literally put bucket of ice in this pool and you just put your body in it. Oh, I hated it, but I knew after about a minute, my feet would freeze. And so I just went in. There's just all these things I've done in life that I realized that, listen, it's the best thing for you, because after I got out, I love myself. My feet didn't hurt. My knee didn't hurt, right? Just don't psych yourself out. Get into the activity. Don't worry about the product knowledge. The whole thing you can control is go make the dials and go serve the people. That's all you want to control. See, you want to go ahead and protect the people you know. We are all about the business model of buying leads. That's something you can scale, but you got to use your network. Everyone knows somebody. If you're having trouble, again, I always tell this to people who don't have much money. Not only you need to buy leads, but use your network. That's the most powerful tool in your arsenal. Make a list, right? If you need help, get with me. But just simply, use your why. I mean, if you literally can use your why. Here's what it sounds like. Hey, ring, ring. Hey, Bill. Hey, Bill. You remember I was telling you about, going to Europe and on a trip for a month and 2 months, and I've had trouble, figuring out how I'm going to pay for it. Listen, I found a way to actually fund it. I need to show it to you. I started working with a company. Can you give me about 15 minutes? You may or may not be interested, by the way, but I need to show it to you. What is it? I told you, I got to show it to you. Give me about 15 minutes. What does that sound like? An appointment. Go over there. Hey, it doesn't matter whether he's interested or not. You're just going to go through. Guys, that's one way to do it. There's so many ways, right? But it's simple. Your goal is just to book an appointment and go through. I promise you, your friends need the service. They need the policy, okay? Because I've had friends who, like I told you guys last week, I didn't protect them, and guess what happened to him? He got cancer, and unfortunately, things are upside down for him. So don't prejudge. If you have a list of less than 100 people, you're prejudging. And forget that. There are people who right now, hey, things are good for them, but they need financial freedom. They're working a job that is just, they're slaves to it. Why couldn't you be the liberator, right? And the reason you're thinking, if you're thinking that you don't want to, I call it you're being selfish. I'm just gonna tell you right now, you're being selfish. Or, hey, here's another thing. They say, I'm gonna see how I do on it first, and then I'll share with someone else. Wait. So you're telling me, unless you succeed, no one else can? If that doesn't sound rotten selfish to the core, I don't know what is. So you are the God's gift to insurance. That's what you're telling me, right? Unless you can do it, no one else can. Really? Come on. I mean, what if someone's been praying for an opportunity and they do better than you? Are you okay with that, right? You get override. Are you okay with that? Anyway, you guys get my point. Make sure you make the list. And I'm going through it quickly because we don't have a lot of time, but you should go through it. All right, we're gonna go through the process. This is the recruiting chain. This is not the hiring. So we're gonna kind of skip this, but the basics is this. You need to be recruiting always, right? You pique someone's interest with a question, use a third-party tool, not you. What is a third-party tool? It's everything but you, meaning you should not be throwing up on people. If they want information, guess what you should be using? Something else, a video. If they want questions answered, you can answer them, but the truth is, it's better if it comes from someone else, because That's how you build something simple. Three-way calls, when someone else basically answers their questions or validates what you're talking about, shares their 30-second story, and then you get them in pre-licensing contracting. Just repeat this process. It's a very, very simple process. Last one is getting plugged in. Do the New Agent Bootcamp. Don't let that hold you from getting started. Only reason we do the bootcamp is just to buy time until you get carriers. Once you got the carriers, go out and jump. Like Steve Harvey says, you need to jump. I don't care whether you're ready. You need to jump. That's how we're going to get you making money now. There's power in it. We have the Zooms like this, Facebook, we got the groups. There's so much power. This business, guys, is lonely. It can get very lonely fast, especially with the difficulty, because we do get no's, but we get yeses too, right? We do get no's, but I want to just inoculate you that there is no reason you should be freezing in the cold when we have so many tools of people that can be getting together with you. Oh, I did fail to mention, you need to, I'll get to that later. Second core commitment, you got to invest in leads every week. Every week. $1,500 a week is what full-timers do. $500 a week is what part-timers do. I just being real. Third core commitment, you know you need to commit to a dial day. Without dials, you got nothing. Dials you got nothing. If you without customers, you have nothing. So if you dread dial day, you'll find that it's one of those things that you will start to love as you do it and do it and do it. It won't be something that you're like, hey, you will accept it better than that. Dial day is not good or bad. It's just dial day. It just is. That's all it is. You'll remember that. Core commitment number 4, training a week. This is it. We got 8 topics. We'll go through the advanced when we get through this, but you'll be learning something new every week, even if it's the same thing. I guarantee you there'll be something that's said that will trigger something because you came from a different vantage point. Just decide to plug in and learn, plug your folks in that are brand new, because again, you don't have to be the expert. You have someone who can help them. 5, you need to sharpen your axe daily. We got YouTube videos. What I mean by that is every day, watch someone train. Watch how they do an in-home. Listen to how there's a call to close. There's all of these different trainings that we have, but sharpen your axe daily.
The third tip comes in the shape of a story. Once upon a time, there was 2 lumberjacks that made a bet to see who could cut down more trees in a 24-hour period. The first man was a huge, burly man that was very muscular, and the second guy was a smaller guy that was small and wiry. They both got off to a great start, chopping and chopping. But as the day went on, both men started to get tired. The larger man looked out of the corner of his eye and he saw the smaller guy going off to take a break. And he thought, this is my chance. And so he started going harder and harder, putting a little bit more muscle behind every single swing. At the end of the day, they went and compared piles to see who had cut down the most amount of trees. And surprisingly, the smaller guy had cut down twice as much as the larger guy. The larger guy said, this is not possible. There is no way. First of all, I'm way bigger. I'm way stronger. I worked harder. And on top of that, I watched you taking a break every 45 minutes. You must have cheated. The smaller guy looks up with him with a smile and says, I didn't cheat. It was easy to beat you because for every hour I spent chopping down trees, I spent 15 minutes sharpening my axe.
Think about that. Hour chopping on a tree, 15 minutes sharpening the axe. Guys, look at these trainings. Got Beyond the Leaderboard. We got the Haven group. You get these trainings, these nitbits. You don't want to be a professional training person. You want to be a YouTuber, but hey, take the time to train. Let's be clear about this. This is in the early part of the day or the late part of the day. During the day, you need to be out working. That's one reason that it took so long for me to get this training together, because technically we dial until 9 o'clock. Now, for those that are in Eastern time, it's not a problem. But for those that are Central, Mountain and Pacific, this is during work time, because technically we got people. I did it in the home or selling policies right now or making dials right now. But again, an hour chopping a tree, 15 minutes sharpening your axe. We got the next level training. These are all on Facebook. You can go to the podcast, search Family First Life. You'll see podcasts. Guys, when I looked at it, there is like gems of information. These guys that we adore, Paul McLean, all these guys, like they have there are people I haven't even heard of. I'm like, wow, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. What you were experiencing, it's already been done. Just go find it. And again, how do you find it? Go through the information faster and faster. 6, you need to expose 2 people a day. Let 2 people a day hear the FFL story. Now, in FFL, because this is a traditional business, the way that was done in the past was we just hire a recruiter, right? I have a recruiter. I talk to people every day. That's how I did it before. calling people that did interviews for ZipRecruiter or who applied for the job. I'm doing my 2. However, the more powerful way to do it is to just simply use your network. Josh Williams, he has the fastest growing agency in any insurance ever. He went to $1 million in like 9 months, $1 million a month as an agency, 9 months. That's like Roger Bannister fast. If you don't know who he is, look him up. How did he do it? Didn't have a recruiter. It was social media, just someone talking to another person. That's it. 2 a day. If you had 2 a day and you were committed to it, I mean, yet another person was committed to it as well, because you can't ask someone to do something you're not doing, right? If I didn't have any money to hire anyone or go on ZipRecruiter, guess what I would do? I would talk to people. I would, on Facebook, how hard is that, right? Add someone. Hey, have you heard of FFL, right? That's it, right? And two agents, that's 4 a day, hearing the FFL story. In a week, 20, in a month, 80, in a year, 960, come on. When 960 folks hear the FFL story, someone's bound to get started, right? That's it. And you look at the numbers as you go through, 96,000, if you have 200 agents, 9,600, come on. We're sorting, not convincing. I love FFL in that we don't need anybody. We're just looking for the people looking for us. So commit to that. Again, another chart about the value of just recruiting. We're only asking for 2. And here's the deal. If you can do 2, guess how many you should do? 1. If you can't do 1, I don't know, do half a 1, find someone that's short, maybe they can't, I'm just kidding. But I don't know, you need to do something, right? Do something to build your business every day. You will thank me later for doing it. This is just an idea of the value of building an agency. No one wants to sell insurance forever. Again, this is the philosophy. I'm going to tell you as I go through each core commitment, if you're kind of noting it down, I'm going to tell you why we have this, and then I'm going to tell you how to do it. Because the why is always more powerful than the how. If I just told you what it was, you'd be like, but if I'm telling you why it is, it's like going into Mickey D's. You may not agree with everything, but when you see why they do it, you're like, oh, okay, right? The fries are always on this side. The shakes are always on this side. The drinks are always on the left side. If you go into any Mickey D's, that's how it is everywhere. The reason you're going to build this right is because you don't want to sell insurance forever. You want to be done in 3 years. Now, you can be like other people who sell. I mean, you'll make great money in FFL, no matter what, if you just do the work, but you'll be a high paid salesperson. That will last for a while. I'm going to prophesy right now, but it won't last forever. You're going to get tired and you're going to like seeing all these folks who are not as good as you. They're making more money than you, or they're making just about the same money, but they have more time freedom. And you're going to wish that you started earlier. So again, 2 a day, 2 a day, 2 a day. It's hard, I know it, but again, do it early in the morning.
As a leader in my old company,
right?
They would have managers come in and try to teach you stuff. And it's like, you haven't done that yet. How can you teach me if something you haven't done? Leadership comes from leading from the front and showing how it's done, not just talking about it. And if I want my agents to write 20,000, I have to do it. If I want them to write 50,000, I have to go do it first. A few managers go out there, write 50, 100,000, and then come back and train how to do it. Growing up, having little small jobs here and there, grocery stores, and had this new person come in and knew nothing about the industry, nothing about the business, knew nothing about it, anything is ran, and try to tell you what to do. But just being a leader, you have to know what you're training. So the only way to do it is actually do it yourself.
Don't ask anyone, and I have never done this, to do something you won't do, period. There's nothing I'm going to ask you to do that I haven't done, because I know it works, right? And so that's the beautiful thing about this event. As you bring people here, you can have someone who's done it, tell them, share with them. So again, you have to lead from the front. I can't tell you how to sell 100 grand a month because I haven't done it, but I can point you to the direction of someone that's done it. That's the beautiful thing about this business. Lead from the front and you manage from the back. Get your degree. This is the FFLU. Make sure you get your degree. Again, if you came in and you did it, that's just, there's a difference between participating and actually doing it. So this is week 2 of the course. I'm going to kind of move it on so we can get the advanced portion going. We're dialing is the second one. We're talking about selling next week. Quarterly sales conference. You want to go to a quarterly sales conference every week. As those are going to conference, you'll find out we'll get more organized. You're going to have a conference nearby you. How do you know where they are? Well, look on Facebook. Facebook, that's why I'm saying get connected with the group. It takes effort to go close to the fire. So if you think that you're just going to sit back and people are just going to blow you, no, you have to participate in your own rescue, right? Go on Facebook. I never went on Facebook before at all because I hated the whole concept of this whole, Facebook thing. I went on and I created an account. Guess what? Because I wanted to be close to the fire. I wanted to get the information from the people in this forum and the places that they were at. So You want to get to a sales conference once a quarter at a minimum, just to get refreshed, revived, because events and going out. So appointments and events. So dials and events. That's really the way it works at FFL. We have a website that's coming out that's going to have all the different areas so that it doesn't make it so difficult. But again, FFL is still raw, right? I know we wish that it was all in one place easy, but I'll be trying to distill this information as soon as possible. But I don't know where you are. So there may be a conference nearby you, but if you stay close to the fire, you'll be able to see it as well. Core commitment number 9, go to the conference. Some of you have seen this. If you haven't, it's okay. If you have, you got to see it again, because this is pretty powerful.
Okay, first thing we're going to talk about today is conference. So John, tell us a little bit how conference changed everything for you. How much volume were you doing, when you first started?
Anywhere from 10 to just shy of, I was constantly shy of 20.
20, okay. Yeah. And then you went to conference in February.
I did.
And what happened?
I haven't written less than 30 cents.
That's
in a month. Issue.
Would you recommend someone go even if it's kind of annoying or out of the way or inconvenient for them?
I would just say you can't afford not to go.
What is it that changed for you?
It was a culmination of the 3 days, hearing all the top level producers speak and really say how they improved when they were kind of maybe like me, and just hearing a lot of just the enthusiasm and just the sense of family that we're a part of here. It just got me more enthused than I was, and I already was enthused, but it just took things seemingly very naturally and organically to the next level.
If you heard it right, 2 things happened. It was activity knowledge, learning knowledge. Who knows how many he'd been to, but this is the same thing that happened to me. Part of what happened is FFL went from his head to his heart. That's key. It went from his head to his heart when he was able to get sold. He was sold that this is the deal. In addition, he got the how of how to do it. You combine those two, that conference is going to be the key that will unlock the safe for some of you. Some of you, here's how I look at it. It's like, you guys ever seen that movie or that show, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, right? Some of you don't know what it is, but just follow me. There are clues of what you got to get. It's almost like National Treasure. Maybe that's a more modern example. You got to get this clue here, and it's leading you this direction. But if you don't go to that place where that clue is, and you get to that next door that you needed a clue for, and so here's what I'm saying. If some of you decide not to go, I get it. But just understand, you are slowing down your process. Conference, as a fact, will shorten your learning curve, I would say 9 months at a minimum. 9 months. Knowing that and knowing what would be on the coming out of it, would you go? That's the question I ask you. I can't answer that for you, but if I knew that, because of conference, that key that unlocked that safe, I would have figured a way to make it, no matter what. Just join us. 3 days going to be the best 3 days of your life. I had someone tell me, I just started this job. I'm like, okay. I said, let me ask you a question. If your mom died and the funeral was on February 3rd through the 5th, what would you tell the job that you just started? He said, oh yeah, I tell them that, I'm sorry, I got a family emergency. So you're telling me you liberating your family, going to an event that will change generations, that's not a family emergency? Come on. See, this is a difference in belief level. If you don't believe me when I tell you, it will make the difference. It's worth it. It's worth it. I'm telling you, if you go to conference and you tell me at the end of it, Mac, yeah, that didn't do it for me. I promise you, I will write you a check. I will Zelle you the money of all your expenses as you go home. I guarantee you, because I know what it's going to do for you. Last 3 things, personal development. I know we're supposed to be an hour, but here's what I'm realizing. There's just too much information to pack in one without losing the value. And so the reality is it's probably going to be an hour and 15, hour 20, max hour 30. So just bear with me, guys. Again, if you have to go, go. I get it. But there's someone here who this is for. This could have been the difference for him. Personal development is going to be the difference here. You want to work hard on yourself when you do your business. Well, now we buy leads, we dial early, we run appointments late. Well, where do you get time for all that? Well, wake up earlier. Tony Robbins, I'll share that clip with you in some time, but talked about, listen, if you work from 8 to 5, your job to pay your bills, build your dream from 5 to when you wake up. If you look at Kobe Bryant, man, listen, look at his story. Masters will pay the price. So where do you pay the price so that you can get better? You got to wake up earlier. All right, you heard on Facebook, some people are doing a 4 a.m. club. Guys, you got to wake up earlier. And if you're having trouble waking up, it's not really because you're tired. I'm going to be real with you guys. It's because you are uninspired. There is nothing, again, going back to what did I say? The why. Your why is weak. If it doesn't get you up in the morning, hit that snooze. I'm sorry, just being real with you. You have not tapped into it. And again, I would love to help you. And anyone who's having trouble tapping into their why, please book an appointment with me. You guys got my Calendly account. I got one-on-one agency interview or overview. You can get my calendar and book an appointment. And we'll book an appointment. We'll go over your why. I can't underestimate the power of this why, because if you do not tackle it and begin driving and making yourself better, you're going to be in the same position you were years ago, like this guy.
Whoa, that's not good.
Oh, I don't need this. I'm already late.
Somebody will come. Anybody out there?
Do you have a phone?
No. Sorry.
Somebody! Hello? There are 2 people stuck on an escalator and we need help. Now, would somebody please do something? I don't believe this. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm gonna cry.
Well, there's not enough left to do, is it?
Hello? Hey, don't worry about it. I'll fix it in a second.
He said he can fix it. All right. All right. That's more like it. He says he can fix it.
So here's the moral of the story. If the problem is out there, you lose all power. Don't ever blame the leads. And we're kind of jumping into the dials, and we're going to take about 30 minutes for it. But whatever problem you're experiencing, if the problem is someone else's fault, how can you ever change? You are a slave, but the only thing you can change is you. When you get better, things get better. And when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Part of the benefit of being in FFL is you have that culture of growth. And people think, oh, wow, I'm doing much better. It is not because you're just working harder, but because you're working harder, you're naturally getting better and better mentally. Your mind is changing. And part of the thing is that personal development. So what you need to do, 10 pages of a book, a personal development book every day. In addition to the Bible, right? I read the scriptures every day. 10 pages every day and 15 minutes of an audio. Ask yourself, how many days did I do that? I do that every day this week. Give yourself a 10, right? If you didn't, give yourself a 0. Now, as far as books, I keep saying it. I'm going to harp it every week. Killing Sacred Cows. The new title is Disrupting Killing Sacred Cows. But this book is a game changer. For those of you that have not gotten it, please get it. If you need something simple, as a man thinketh, right? Because it'll change you. Just something small, but change. 11 core commitment. You want to make sure you get a workout partner, because without one, you're going to find it's a lot more difficult to succeed. This is a funny, but the truth is it has so many rules. You know, you call some leads. Oh, I guess that leads didn't work. Someone says, come on, man, you can do this, right?
That's yours.
You get better. You go get some training, right? You get some coaching. You come to one of these, right? You might need someone to tell you, you can do this. Keep going. And suddenly, the same people that used to tell you no, tell you yes. Isn't that interesting how that works, right? So at first, the process is you'll only be able to book people that they're just still looking. You'll get better and better and better. And then your posture will change. Then you'll be able to book people who say they're not interested. You'll be able to book people who, oh, they already got it, right? You just get better and better. But again, you got to work. You got to be bad enough, long enough to get good. If you don't let yourself be bad enough, you're never going to win, right? And I hear things all the time when people say things like, oh, and again, it gets me because the leads, that's a real person. That's not just a lead. I think of it as my job to be good enough so that they know that they recognize me as the person there to help them. That's on me. When someone tells me things like, oh, the leads just didn't work. Oh, so you were looking for this to be easy, because FFL is about hard work. It's about work ethic. And no, I'm a good worker. I just don't want to work that. Oh, no. What you mean is, unless it comes easy to you, you don't want to do it, because you forgot what it took to be a master. You forgot that it took you 4 years, not getting paid, paying a school to become a bachelor, right? And then a few more years for you to get a master's degree. I mean, we forgot what it took for mastery, and yet we didn't get anything from that. But yet we want our dream, we want our why. We want this to fund our why that's expensive, and we're not willing to be bad enough for it. Come on, right? Listen, Sean Mike says, have some respect for yourself. That is idiotic thinking, right? Let's get ourselves back to earth. Here, you're not a guinea pig. If you just do it, you'll succeed, right? 12, be here a year from now, follow all the 12, because nothing happens overnight. I guarantee you guys, this is little bit of thinking. There's another book that you want to write down. It's called The Slight Edge. It's a great book. So every day, 2 exposures, 15 pages, 15 minutes 10 pages of a good book, 15 minutes of good audio. I messed that up. Every week, 2 dial days, and then 30 appointments. Every quarter, every 3 months, 1 sales conference. Every year, 1 conference. Guys, that's the Haven 12. So we're done there. Recognition. We want to let's just take 2 minutes. Recognize there are a lot of people that did well this week. I guarantee I'm going to be better. Part of the problem was my technical difficulties. If you hired more than 1 agent, we appreciate you. What we're going to do in the future is just put your names on here. And then when we have more time at an actual event, we'll go ahead and recognize you. So we have people that are selling, that are also in the 20K club or 10K club. We want to recognize those first as well. Fast start qualifying, you sold policies, and you brought someone and you brought some people on board. So fast start qualifying is 10 policies sold, or you sold 5 policies and you hired 3 people. That's fast start qualifying. You need to do that. So we normally would take a break, but I got caught up in some things, which happens. We're going to jump into dials, which is the advanced topic. And I'm actually going to introduce a guest who, I'll be honest with you, she trumps me in dialing. I'll be honest with you, in every way she trumps me, but in dialing she's an expert. I say that because whether or not she likes it, she does it naturally. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring on Anna. She's going to go over the advanced topic. Just let me know when to go to the next slide, and we'll start jumping on it. Anna, you on here?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
Awesome. I can. All right, guys, take it away. Anna's going to go and take it away, and then we're going to actually open it up, and we're going to have some live dials. So some of you are going to get on and give us your worst objection. We're going to hear you tell us exactly what's going on. So Anna, take it away.
So when he means live dials, guys, we're going to do some live role plays so we can play back and forth, not actually dialing folks. But thank you, Mac. Appreciate it. Love your training as always. It's incredible. Love your mind. As far as dialing, we're going to go through this pretty quick because honestly, repetition is the mother of all skill, as long as you're repeating the right thing, right? And so I want to go over the basics of dialing, of really the who, what, why, where, when, how. And it comes down to a very simple process. And before I jump into that, I want you to understand what Mike's been talking about as far as understanding your why. Insurance, sales in general, it's all a mindset. And that is, dialing is part of the sales process, but insurance in itself, it's all in a mindset. A lot of people jump into sales, into a business, and they say, I'm going to try it out. And like Mac was talking about, barrier of entry, if you had to invest 100 grand to be able to be an insurance agent, would you go in with a mindset that, if it doesn't work, it's okay, or I might not be good at it? No, you would do everything that you possibly could to make sure that you were going to be good at it. You would take the right classes, you would do the right trainings, you would role play, you would do whatever it took, right? So I want you guys to change your mindset up and think of insurance, being an agent, as trade school. If you consider trade school versus college, and I have degrees, Mac has degrees, I have nothing against college, but I teach my children very clearly that going to school and gaining an education is fantastic and it's vital, but college is not a place you go to figure life out. If you don't know and have a passion for what you already know you're going to do, like going to medical school or going to be an attorney, something along those lines, then you need to look at a trade school. You need to learn and earn at the same time. And that's what a trade allows you to do. Insurance is a trade. You have to invest and then you earn while you learn, right? So if you consider, if you're going to go to be an electrician, there's an investment portion, right? Where you have to pay for school, you have to pay for that time that's in the classroom, the book learning, and then you take that knowledge and you take it to actual jobs and be able to work in person. And for somebody that has more experience than you to be able to say, oh, no, you did that wrong. Yep, you did that right. But you are financially investing and you are investing your time to learn that skill. Do you walk into an electrician or an electric school and say, well, if I'm not a master in 5 months, if I'm not making 80,000 in 5 months, or, if I'm not making 6,000 a month in 3 months, then I quit. Then this isn't for me. This being an electrician isn't for me. No, you go in with a mindset that it's going to take you about 2 years, right? If you are a plumber, a journeyman's going to take you 5 or 6 years, 5 or 6 years, guys, of consistent repetition of learning and applying skill and investing your time and your money. So insurance is not different. You're not just playing at this thing, right? If you're going to school full time, or if you're in a trade full time and you can't afford to live because you're in a process of not making very much money because you're learning or you're spending more on school, right? We all know how much those type of things cost. You're investing more than you're getting back. What do? You go get a part-time job or you go get a full-time job. I worked when I was in school full-time. I was a single mom in school full-time, and I worked a full-time job and a part-time job so I could afford to provide for my family and I could afford to pay to go to school, right? Because that's what had to happen. So when we talk about investing in your business, we're talking about you need leads to dial, so therefore you need to be able to invest. So consider when we talk about insurance, when we talk about getting better, when we talk about dialing, I want you to take this from the mindset that this is a trade, guys. This requires an investment of both time and money for you to become good. Now, what that time is like, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 2 years, it could be 3 years. It takes 4 years to get a degree, sometimes 3 if you're quick about it, right? But if you want a degree that's going to pay you a massive amount of money, you have to spend more time to get more mastery in. So keep that in your mind as we talk about dials. So that way, when we move forward, we're making sure that we have that right mindset. As far as what we're talking about dialing, what is dialing? What tools do I need? So this is for the very basic person coming on that has never dialed before. This is also for the person that dials twice a week already and that has been for months. Guys, it's the same information for both people. Whether you consider yourself an expert at dialing or whether you're brand new, it's the same process, the same repetition, the same information. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Awesome. So number one, when it comes to dialing, is you do have to submit to the process. Dialing is not fun until you make it fun. That's the bottom line. And like Max said, I don't like it. I can't tell you how many times. I am a sensitive soul. I'm not gonna play around it. I'm not a great people person, and I am a sensitive soul, and it takes a lot of courage, man. That phone, I tell you what, lifting up this phone can be that 100-pound gorilla some days. But I also know about myself that if I get through a certain amount, by the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th dial, I'll be okay. So I put it in my head and I submit to the process, and I know what my process is. Okay, I just got to get through 10. But I will tell you, like I've gone through my 10, I've gone through my 20, and then I'll stop, and I might have to cry a little bit. I might have to this. Not anymore so much, to be honest with you, just because I've done it so much. But man, in the beginning, Mac used to laugh at me, but he was like, hey, do what you got to do. And I'm like, it's how it affects me. But I'm okay with that because I know what I'm trying to accomplish, right? Dialing is also a learned process. Do not expect to come in your first day, your second day, your third day and be good. I mean, if you've had years of experience dialing, guys, yeah, expect to be good, but still be coachable. But just like, I mean, you sign up to become a plumber. You have somebody who maybe has never touched pipes in their life, doesn't know anything about where hot and cold water come from or anything. Why in the world would they step into their first day of school or their first week of school and expect to be good, to know how to fit pipes together? They wouldn't. It's just not logical. If you consider this a trade, don't expect yourself to be good. Expect yourself to struggle, be on that struggle bus, and to need to get better, right? You also have that in your mindset that, okay, I'm not very good, but fake it, right? The person on the other side of the phone, they don't know that this might be your first 100 dials. They don't know that you've only been doing this for a week or two. So you don't need to tell them that, whether it's through your voice or through your inflections, through your attitude. Get up, put your shoulders back. We all know physiology affects psychology, right? Get up, put your shoulders back. If you've got to stand up, smile. Make that confidence a part of you. Relax and let it happen. Go ahead. We already talked about not blaming the leads, but just, guys, it is so crucial. So crucial. I hear so many people, and I work, if any of you have called me and asked to say, hey, where do I find leads and anything, you guys know, I deal with leads all the time, every single day. And I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that their response is, what are the best leads to buy? What are the good leads to buy? Those leads, that batch sucked. We have purchased thousands and thousands of dollars of leads, thousands, multiple thousands of leads over the last year and a half. And we have profited 100% of the time. Does that mean that every single batch we sold from every single batch? Nope. Does that mean we made appointments for every single batch? No. But it means that if you take that process averaged out, because our mentality was, well, if this batch didn't work, then we just need more leads, right? If you take that averaged out, we profited and profited and profited multiple times over to the point where it absolutely made sense. But just understand, it's you that has to get better. It's not the lead that has to change. And I don't care what objection you're getting. I don't care what kind of batch of leads you buy. It's you. It's you 100% of the time.
Could you cover not selling?
Yes. I will do that when we go through, when I go through a.
Okay, copy that.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, good stuff. All right.
And if you guys have questions about dialing, just write them.
This is the part where we're gonna do some role play. We're gonna talk as far as the leads, by the way. Anna hit it. We are there to serve. We are in sales, but we're really not selling. We're servicing. You are an order taker. So the way you want to approach the leads is in order to sell them something, you need to know exactly what they are looking for. The power of your dials would be based on how good your questions are and knowing the right questions to ask. You're new, you don't. So just understand, when you're calling to do a one call close or anyone else, just because they're interested, you can ruin the whole sale by actually trying to sell. You just need to be, again, service them, serve them. What is it that you're looking for? Okay. That's the kind of idea you want to go about this. Okay. So don't go in that you're trying to sell somebody. You're not. And people can realize that off the bat. So let's jump into some role plays. Anna, if we could just, maybe you can go over, how do you want to do it? You want to go over role plays first, or do you want to do some of these objections that people get first?
I think before we even jump into that, I apologize, I didn't know this slide was next. Before we jump into that, I want to go through just some very, very basics of dialing on just voice inflection and all of that. And write this down, you guys. If you haven't already talked to me about dials and you haven't already gone through this process or heard me say it, I want you to write it down. There's a couple of basic keys when it comes to dialing. First and foremost, low and slow. lower your voice, and speak slow. A voice that is lower is a voice of authority. And when you speak slow, it forces people to stop and listen. When you speak too fast, which is what we have a tendency to do when we're nervous, and you speak high, you sound like you're scared, like you're nervous, like you're anxious, and like you don't know what you're talking about. So if you don't have any confidence in yourself, why would the person listening to you? Low and slow. When you first make the dial, you need to be assumptive. Hi, Mac. Hi,
Yep.
Anna. Hi, Joe. Not, hi, could I speak with Joe? Hi, is Joe available? Hi, is this Mr. Long? Hi, is this Mr. Rudolph or Mrs. Rudolph? Hi, could I please speak with? Hi, my name is so-and-so. Could I speak with? No, you are making an assumption. I want you to think, if I was calling my friend, right? And I'm just calling him to say, hey, what's up? There's no like excitement going on. I don't have any incredible news. I'm just like calling to say, hey, what's up? My response or my voice initially when I talk to them would be like, hey, Mac, what's up? I would talk to them, hey, what's up? Right? That's what you want to consider. You're the uninterested third party. You're not excited. You're not there to, just knock their boots off. You're just, hey, what's up? Right? So, hey, Mac, low and slow, and you're very assumptive right from the get-go. Keep a script in front of you. Guys, it doesn't show any sign of you're amazing and professional and you've got this. And keep a script in front of you and read the script, right? And you're going to say, well, it sounds like I'm reading a script. So that, honestly, that doesn't matter. Having a script in front of you makes it so you stop going off on tangents and you start trying to think on your feet. You're not good enough to think on your feet yet.
You don't forget things. Like I've done it where I was so excited, or they asked me a question that deviated me from my script. And then I forget to ask if it's an apartment or a house. I get to the appointment and I don't know where the apartment is, or there's a gate code. And my script would have told me to ask it, but because I deviated, I messed myself up.
Yep. And you'll see every time I dial, I keep my script in front of me. It's kind of like my, I don't know what the word is, but you guys get
security
the point.
blanket.
My security blanket. Yeah. Because I know where I'm at all times. I have it memorized. I've done it a million times, but I still have it in front of me. So keep your script in front of you. So low and slow, you're assumptive and you're in control 100% of the time. The last thing before we go over just, Mac, you and I will just go over a very basic script before we go through objections and role play. You do not have to work with mean people. It is not your job to deal with mean people. Remember, you are an independent agent and you are in charge of who you service. It's not your job to convince somebody that, oh no, you really did fill this out. Oh no, you really did this, and keep them on the phone. If they're being rude and nasty, and if you've dialed enough, you know what I'm talking about. I literally have a guy scream at me one time that, all sorts of fun stuff, but what stuck out to me, this was the day I ended up crying. Man, he said some mean things, and I literally didn't even get through any of the script. I probably just caught him on a high day or a bad day or something. I don't know. But it is not my job. I am an independent professional. I do not have to submit to that type of treatment.
Oh, right? Don't hold back. Tell him what he said.
Oh, he told me, part of what he told me was that he was going to carve my heart out with a spoon and eat it. You effing bee. So that was a lovely day for me. I was sitting in my van out of my house because that's where it was quiet. And I was like, wow, what am I doing? I had what Mac was talking about. I had to rethink my why. Why am I sitting in my van when my kids are in the house making dials and dealing with these kind of people? And then I realized I don't have to deal with these kind of people. So anytime I get somebody that's nasty, this is my response. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mac. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I'm sorry, I apologize. Click. And I've done that maybe once or twice. Or I'm just saying, hey, I'm sorry you're having a bad day, and I let it go. But understand, sometimes if you try to convince the people that are being rude and nasty, sometimes every once in a while they turn into incredible appointments. More often than not, they turn into really, really annoying clients. And we're glad we protected them. But they become it's a struggle bus. So just understand we are here to serve people. but you are in charge of who you serve 100% of the time, okay? So real quick, I want to go through, let me just look. I want to go through, Mac, and just like say a script with you so they can kind of just hear the basics of what I say and understand there's tons of scripts out there. There is a lot to be said for perfect transitions when you're dialing, right? But confidence in what you're saying and how you say it is going to override what your script is 1,000% of the time. So don't get caught up in, oh, what Anna's saying, oh, I've got to say that exact script. What Max says, I got to say that exact script. There's hundreds of great scripts out there, but understand your confidence is going to outweigh that every single time. So your script is great. And there's tons of different things that you can say. Just make sure that you say it bold and proud. So Mac, I'm going to act like I'm calling you. And I'm just going to take it to the point, and you're not going to give me too many objections, but I'm just going to take it to the point where we're going to start talking about setting an appointment. So ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, Mac.
Yeah.
Hey, Mac, this is Anna. I'm calling in regards to your mortgage with Chase Bank. Just following up real quick, back when you financed or refinanced your loan, you filled out a form requesting some information about mortgage protection. It's that program that pays off your mortgage in the event of a death or disability. So just following up, wanted to make sure I got that information out to you. So I just needed to verify your information that you wrote down here real quick. So I have your address as blah, blah, blah,
I think we were going to look at that, but we stopped looking at that.
Perfect. That's exactly why I called. I know with everything going on right now with the pandemic and whatnot, we got super far behind. So that's my fault. I do apologize. But now that we're calling, we can go ahead and get that information out to you and get you set up. And I actually cover all of Arizona, but I'm going to be in Maricopa County just the next 2 days. Takes about 15 minutes. So if I were able to swing by Friday or Saturday and fit you in, would Friday or Saturday work better for you?
I don't know if we got a lot of things going on this weekend, so I don't know.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. You said you got a lot going on this weekend.
Yeah, we got a lot going on this weekend, so I don't know if it's a good time to get this done.
Perfect. Okay. And that's exactly why I'm calling, because I know this is important to you. That's why you filled it out. As far as timing, you guys got plans all day Saturday. Do you guys still work on Friday, or are you taking the day off?
We work. Yeah, we're gonna do something in the morning on Saturday.
On the morning on Saturday, okay. And are you typical like 9 to 5, where you get home like right around 6 p.m., both of you?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So I could swing by, maybe I could fit you in about 6:30, 6:45. If I swung by about 6:45, would that get you enough time to get your shoes off and kind of put your books down from work?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to swing by about 6:45. Like I said, it'll take about 15 minutes unless you have a ton of questions. Of course, I'm going to answer all of those for you. Just need to verify real quick, again, your address, blah, 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 and your address, blah, blah, blah. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. And as far as your community, any guard dogs or gate codes that I need to be aware of?
Nope.
Okay. And do you have a preference on whether I park on the curb or in the driveway?
Curb is fine.
Curb is fine. Okay. And last question, do you have a preference on whether I wear a mask?
No.
Perfect. Okay. I've got you down for Friday, so that's tomorrow at about 6:45. Just give me a little bit of flexibility. You know how traffic can be. So I want to make sure that I get there as close to on time as possible, but I will be there for sure 6:45, right around there tomorrow. Okay. We'll see you then.
Okay.
All right. Bye. Okay. So with that, guys, that is a basic, everything that he comes back to me with. My 100% response is perfect. That's why I'm calling. I'm not interested. Perfect. That's why I'm calling. I'm busy. Perfect. That's why I'm calling. I already have it. Perfect. That's why I'm calling, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I do typically talk about inside of the presentation when I'm booking them that it is non-medical. But it all depends on how the conversation flows, because if I can move on right to setting the appointment, I'm going to move on. I'm not going to say, well, wait, I have to say all of this stuff in my script. So that is part of what you learn as you continue to dial over and over. You'll be able to feel the flow of the conversation and be able to take it where you want to take it. Until you're at that point where you feel really confident, you understand where the conversation's going, just stick to your script, and you'll be golden as you continue to go. So from that, we can go ahead and work on some objections. And if you guys have any other objections you want to throw out there,
let me throw them now. So call me back. Hey, so you see the ring. Hey, keep going. Call me back. I'm at work right now.
Perfect. That's exactly why I'm calling. What time do you get off work?
About 6. I'm at 6. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
There you are. Can you hear me?
I get off
okay?
I get off at 6.
At 6 o'clock? Perfect. Okay. And is it just you, or does your wife work during the day as well? Or your partner?
Hey, I gotta talk to you later. I'm at work right now.
Perfect. That's exactly why I'm calling. Okay. I'll be by
So
about 6:30, 6:45.
So let's stop that one. So the reality is, when you're dialing and they're at work, it's called a quick set. You're not going to be able to. I take it as long as they'll let me talk. Because if you're at work and you're that busy, guess what you wouldn't do? You wouldn't answer the phone, right? But if you answer the phone, that means that you will stay on the phone depending on how important it is to you. That said, I want to book a quick appointment. I say, hey, perfect. I'm actually busy myself. What time do you get back from work? Excellent. This is about the mortgage protection. Does your wife get back about the same time? Yep. Okay. Work. And hey, I'll squeeze you in. I always say, I'm going to squeeze you in. If I squeeze you in between 7 and 7:30, or 7:30 to 8:30, any reason that wouldn't work to get you this information? They say, yeah. Now, again, depending on how quickly it was, it might be a quick set. If I find another appointment that's better, more solid, I will book over that. But I just want to know that they get off at a certain time and I can drop by if I need to. That's how I usually do it, typically for those. I'll call you back. Anna, do you do it any differently?
Yeah, I don't ever, if they ask me to call them back, I just kind of ignore it. Perfect. That's why I'm calling. Because truthfully,
they don't really mean call you back. Yeah, they don't really mean that.
Everybody's busy. So when he says I'm at work, I can't tell you how many appointments I book with people who are at work. And they're super nice about it. I had one guy just sitting there chatting me up, and I'm like, oh no, I'm at work. I gotta go. Like, we booked the appointment. We're good. I gotta get off the phone now, right? But understand, whatever they're telling you, it is just, they don't know you. They don't know why you're calling. So they're just doing their very best to politely get off the phone as soon as possible. So respectfully ignore it.
Yep. Call me back and I'm busy right now. It's just a polite no. Just remember that. They don't really mean call you back. Next one. I'm not interested.
Perfect. That's exactly why I'm calling. So if somebody says I'm not interested, my response is perfect. That's exactly why I'm calling. I know you've probably gotten a ton of these calls, Mac. Just so I can go ahead and properly close you out, perhaps, point you in the right direction. Were you not interested because it was too expensive or because you couldn't get approved? I want to be very clear.
Go ahead. Sorry. I want to be.
Oh no, I want to be very clear. When I call people, my assumption is they want what they filled out. They want the mortgage protection. They want the life insurance. So if somebody says I'm not interested, my immediate response in my head is, oh, they've already been through a presentation and they either got denied or it was too expensive. Because in all reality, it just makes sense. Everybody needs some sort of protection. I don't care if all we're giving them is a better accidental plan. Everybody needs something, or they know somebody who needs something, right? So if you tell me I'm not interested, my immediate response in my head is, oh, perfect. This is a great sell because they've already been through a presentation and they've already spent their time learning about insurance. So it saves me time, or it saves Mac time doing the appointment. What were you going to say, babe?
Yeah, the value of I'm not interested, again, just understand, you got to be quick on your feet. You're going to understand what the objections are before they even say it. So I'm not interested. Perfect. That's exactly why I'm calling. So were
Yeah,
you
I
not
got a
interested
question.
because, please shoot.
So a lot of times when I get not interested, I feel like I say, okay, perfect. And they're like, all right, thanks, bye. Like I get a lot of that, especially if they're at work. Like it's so fast. They're like getting off the phone so fast. What do you suggest for that? What I've done is like, sometimes I'll just be like, they'll say, oh, I'm not interested. I'll be like, because you can't afford it or you don't think you're qualified. Like I just have to hit them really fast. Do you suggest that or not really?
That's saying you got to be quick in the response. That's exactly what I do. You got to be quick on the response, because if you dilly-dally, they'll hang up. So you got to be quick. So I'm not interested. Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm calling. Was that because, so whenever you pause, it gives them room to run away. So don't pause when you don't want them to butt in. Perfect, that's exactly what I'm calling. So remember so the key to, if you look at any good dialer, they call it word tracks. It's the way they say something in the transitions they do. So you'll notice they say something and they don't pause it a certain way. So when I used to start and I was getting killed on the phones, I thought I was saying their script exact same way they were. I was reading it, but I literally was not saying it like they were. So when you follow someone you hear, literally when they pause, you pause. They don't pause, don't pause. But yes, to answer your question in short, you got to say it quickly, or not so much quickly, but you got to just have a transition that gives you time to talk. I'm not interested. Yeah, that's exactly why I'm calling, Bill. So were you not interested because you didn't qualify, or you thought it was too expensive? And I'm waiting for them to just, I don't care what they say. It doesn't matter what the response is. Okay, that's exactly what I'm calling, Bill. Listen, I'm just letting you know we got it. I just got to get it down to you. I specialize in making it affordable, whatever you decide. So I'm already transitioning to say, I don't care whatever you do with it. My job is just to get it to you. And I have sold policies of people who I got it to them. I was able to break down their real issue, and they were able to see the policy for what it was and they got covered. So two things: stay quick, but understand that you got to transition to, whether you do it or not, I just got to get you the coverage. I just got to get you the policy.
Hey, Matt, what do you recommend for when people always tell me I didn't fill out anything? I get that's like my number one.
All right, so I think that let's transition to the next one, Anna. So actually, we're getting there. I already have it. I didn't fill it out. We already got this. So let's take care of. I didn't fill it out. What do you say, Anna?
I haven't.
Do you get that? Do you get that much?
A lot of the objections. So I'm gonna go back, because Mac and I were talking about this, Paris, when we were working on the training, and he's like, well, what about this objection? I was like, I've never gotten that one before, and I've done hundreds of dials. And he's like, what about this one? And I honestly think it all comes down to how you set the table right in the beginning. So you guys know how we talk about setting the table when you get in the home and you do a presentation. If you don't set the table right, then at the back end, you're going to get well, I just want to think about it, right? That was good information, but you're not able to close. So in the beginning, you need to make sure that you're setting the table correctly as well. You are setting the table with confidence, assumption. You're setting the table, low and slow. And this is who I am. This is what I'm here for. But if they were to come to me and say, well, I didn't get anything, I didn't fill anything out, I'd say, perfect. That's exactly why I'm calling, to confirm that this is you filling the information out. I would make up something right on the spot. Perfect. That's exactly why I'm calling. I do need to verify the information because, if it wasn't you, we definitely need to verify, right? And make up something along those lines. Really, the goal is, it's kind of like if you think that you're a fly swatter and it's a fly, you're just, just kind of batting it out of the way. Just consider in your head that what they're really saying is not what they're really saying. They're just trying to say something to get you off the phone. Right. So your response is really just to bat it out of the way. Perfect. Paris, you tell me I didn't fill anything out. Perfect. That's exactly why I'm calling. I just need to verify this information to make sure that what we have is correct, especially if you didn't fill it out. Okay. Especially if you didn't fill it out. And I would not pause and let them talk, especially if you didn't fill it out. I've got the address here as boom. I've got your date of birth here as boom. And if they tell me that, I would give them or verify more information on the form that I have, especially if it's like specific to them and not generic. Like I have a weight here.
A height and weight.
Here,
yeah.
Yeah. use the information that you
Yeah.
have kind of against them. And if they verify that information, hold on, if they verify that information, well, yeah, that's me, or they say, yep, that's correct, then I would just move on with the script. I wouldn't even backtrack to the fact that they said they didn't fill it out. I would move on to say, perfect. Paris, so these are the plans they're all non-medical. That means that there's not going to be any doctor visits, poking, prodding, mouth swabs, urine samples, nothing like that. And I would just move right on. Mac, what would you do?
So Paris,
when somebody
Paris, let's role play it. So a little bit, you and I going to role play it, but I want you to give you the strategy is there's two things: complaints and objections. When people tell you those things, they're not really real objections; they're just complaints. I didn't fill it out as just a complaint. It's like a fly. You just say, big deal. If you make it a big deal, they'll make it a big deal. So I found that I don't focus on it because whatever you focus on, it's going to expand. So my strategy is let's role play it. So ring, ring. Paris, go ahead. Ring, ring.
Hey.
Hey, Paris.
Hello?
Hey, Paris, this is Mac. I'm just getting back to you about that life insurance request that you sent in. I just need to verify some information you put down real quick. And go ahead and, by the way, interrupt me whenever you think they would interrupt you.
What request? I didn't put anything in. What you talking about?
That's exactly what I'm calling, Paris. Looks like you put that your date of birth is 5/5/84. Is that correct?
No.
That's incorrect? Okay. Let's see if that's the reason to make these calls. I got an address here of 123 Success Lane. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Looks like we got to transpose date of birth here. Anyway, Paris, the reason I'm calling is to let you know we did get your request processed. They assigned me to it. This is about the programs for the life insurance that are non-medical. No blood work, physical. I just got to get it to you so we can get you checked off. Do you normally home in the mornings or in the afternoons?
I like that. Okay. I see what you did.
So I want you to focus on that. Like, bat out the way. When they're giving me, like, trying to, like, shake me, you need to book the appointment, book it now. Book it fast. Don't focus on them not filling it because, listen, they filled it out. How do I have your height and weight? Come on, really? Like, don't debate something like that because it's like fighting with a kid. I'm not tired. I don't want to go to bed right now. Don't do that. Just focus on what happened is focus on moving on. So I've heard people say things like, that's no problem. I don't remember what I ate for breakfast. So I see, I just want to let you know that boom, 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 boom. And you're just moving on. It's not a big deal. These are the non-medical programs. And here's another strategy I've used. And I kind of gauge it depending on the situation. Let's say same situation, Paris. So ring, ring.
Hello?
Paris?
Yeah.
Hey, Paris, this is Mac. I'm just getting back to you about that life insurance request you sent in. I just need to verify some info with you real quick. It looks like you put, and I want you to notice, pause for a second. I purposely did not pause until I was ready. So I talk slow, but I talk consecutively until I am ready for them to talk. It's almost as if I don't want them to talk until I'm ready. So some of you, when you call, when you make these, when you're doing your script, you pause in an area where you shouldn't, and it gives them room to rebuttal you. You haven't gotten enough information out. Your first 10 seconds, you need to validate yourself as an authority. Hey, Paris, first way you validate yourself, low voice. You don't have that problem. You're pretty good at that, Paris. Hey, Paris. Yep. Hey, this is Mac here. I'm just getting back to you about that life insurance form you sent in. Just need to verify. Notice I didn't pause. Just need a life insurance form you sent in. Just need to verify versus getting back to you about that life insurance form you sent in. Just need to verify. That little pause, you think it doesn't make a big deal, but it does. It does. So I go on. They say, let's say, Paris, you say, I didn't fill it out. No worries, Paris. I don't remember what I fill out sometimes. Let me just verify. Looks like you put your date of birth as this. Is that correct? Yep. I got the delivery address as this. I purposely say delivery address as this. That's still correct. Perfect, Paris. Now, and as I go through a book the appointment, so here's one thing I do. I go through, he says he gets home at this time. If I feel that it's a weak appointment, me personally, I ask more questions. That's just me. I booked it where I've gone and they're there. I booked it where they're not there. But the ones where I verify a little bit more, I found it a little bit more solid. So I say things like, after he says he gets home at 6, perfect, he's single. All right, Paris, and so Paris, most people fill this out because they know if they passed away, they don't want to leave a burden on somebody. Where you more, here's the key. I've done this too as well. If you remember filling it out, would it be because you didn't want to leave a burden of just you passing away with the funeral cost, or where you want to leave money for somebody? Guess what they say every time? They answer one of the two. They say, "Oh yeah, it was to make sure I didn't leave a burden on somebody," or "No, I want to leave money behind." They just don't remember. So stop making it a big deal that they didn't remember filling it out. They did. Our job is to get it to them anyway. So I just move on with it. Does that answer your question?
Totally. Like the thing I was doing was totally wrong. I was like, well, how else I get your information? And yeah, that wasn't the way to go. So
Paris,
don't
fight with them.
Same exact thing. Oh my! I had this old Russian guy, and I'm Russian, so I know how they work. So he just kept asking, "What do you want from me? What do you want from me?" And looking back, I should have maybe said something like, "Oh, I don't want anything back from you. I'm just here to give you information so that you maybe stop getting these calls all the time, because he already told me that I'm getting all these calls. Why are you calling me? I didn't fill this out." And I was like, and I did the same thing you did, Paris. And then I got scared, hung up, and he called me back. Like the Russian granddad would do. To be like, "No, don't call me again. You hung up."
But yeah, Paris, so I hope that helps you. Again, the whole goal of this is when you leave, you're better the next day. There's going to be a sale made in every conversation. They're either going to sell you on some lie that they didn't fill it out, or you're gonna just move on and know they did. They filled it out. Let's just get that clear right now. Stop debating it. They did. Either they did or a relative did. We didn't get their information by accident. I tell them, I make a joke of it sometimes. Paris, yeah, this isn't one of those deals where you just fall on your keyboard and your information appears. And I kind of laugh at it. So I'm just, again, my job is to get you the information, let you, and just get you checked off. Whatever you do with it, that's your business. And just, again, it's not a big deal. Just get them the information anyway. Now, if you're doing a one-call close, no big deal. It may be a little harder because, they're a little skeptical. If they got the 10 minutes, you go ahead and knock it out right then, right? So anyway, we kind of beat that up. But as far as any other objections people are getting before we go through these other three?
I have one. So what happens when, it's not really an objection, but more like a scenario, what happens when you are dialing someone and all the information says that it's like a female or whatever, and then just someone completely different answers? What do you do in that case, or how do you handle that?
So the name on the lead card is not the person answering the phone, like a husband and wife.
Yeah, like let's say you're calling John and then you hear a girl voice pick up and it's Maria, and they have no relationship to each other. What do you do in that case? Or they don't know who John is.
So it's a wrong number then? Yeah, just a wrong number. If they don't know who it is what it is. I mean, I try to look them up on Fast People Search, or, hey, the number's wrong, but the address is right. So I mark it as a door knock. And while I'm out, if I'm close, I'll go door knock it.
I see. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, guys, out of 100 leads, all you're looking for is 3. You'll get more because a lot of those don't answer yet, keyword yet. You're looking for 3 that are ready today, right? But yeah, any others that people are getting that is trumping you?
I have one that I get a lot where when I'm doing like age mortgage protection, they will ask me like what company I'm with. Am I with their mortgage company? And or like I've already paid off my mortgage. I don't have that anymore because it's age.
All right, Anna, I already paid off my mortgage. How do you handle that one?
That's a good question. So Rosa, I've never gotten that one before. Mac and I were chatting about it because he's like, what would you say if somebody said that? And I want to point out, I'll tell you what I hypothetically would say, because I make up stuff on the spot all the time. I'm probably the biggest BSer you'll ever meet, because at the end of the day, keep it in your mind, guys. It's always, how we always talk about pivoting when you're in the home. If they get declined by one carrier, then you pivot to another one, and you don't even. Okay, Mac, come on now. Brat. Anyways, he's talking smack on the chat there. But if they get declined by one carrier and you pivot to another, you don't tell them, hey, you got declined, so I'm going to come to another carrier. You just keep rolling with the flow. It's the same thing when you're making dials. Remember, your whole goal is to pivot. Anytime they throw an objection at you, it doesn't matter what that objection is. Your goal is to handle the objection and then turn it right back into a close. That's all you're doing is a circle every single time. So when somebody tells me, if somebody says, well, I've already paid off my mortgage, I probably would respond something like, perfect, Rosa, that's exactly why I'm calling, because a lot of clients that we talk to, they think they actually have to have a mortgage attached to get this type of coverage when you actually don't. So I just need to verify this information that you put down on this form to get all this information out to you. I have your address as. So it's the same concept. You're just batting out of the way. Perfect. That's exactly why I'm calling. People think this. It's not the case. Now let's close you out. Let's get back on the script. Every single time when we're talking about you don't take a breath and you move on, that's you carrying the conversation. That's you being in charge of the conversation so you can close out the conversation. You don't allow the objection to throw you off course, because remember what your course is. Your course is to lead them back, lead the horse back to water. Your course is to take that conversation and move it back to the close. So if they tell you something, your mind is like, what can I say to pretty much bat that out of the way and let them not worry about that and get back to the close. So perfect. A lot of people think that you need a mortgage or you need to have, still owe money on your home in order to get this type of protection. That's actually not the case. So I just need to verify. And the reason I say is so I'm breaking up my sentence. They're called filler words. That's why when you heard me talking, I said or You break up your sentence without taking a breath and pausing and telling them that they can talk.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm still talking. I'm still in control of the conversation. It's not your turn yet. I'm still talking. And that's why I say
It's a pro
I
tip.
just need to.
Pro
I
tip
just
right
need
there.
to. So just remember, you're always leading the horse back to water. That is the purpose. Just bat the objection out of the way and lead the horse back to water.
And to help you with that, by the way, if I can just interrupt for a second, the reason that it's okay for me, some of you thinking that's kind of pushy, for me, it's not, because I'm just looking to get them resolved. If I go through the appointment and I can't help them, I'm okay with that. Like some of you, I don't want to say you have commission breath, but you have commission breath. Like unless you can get something out of the client, it's like almost as if you want to get something from them. I'm just looking to serve you. If I go through and I can't serve you, then hey, the lead was resolved. But you know what the best annuity leads are? The best annuity leads are? It's mortgage leads. I may not be able to serve you in one area, but man, I just met with the person who I helped them with a small policy. He actually already got the mortgage protection. I helped him protect his grandbaby. Now I'm actually going to be submitting an annuity to help him get more money than he's already getting. So I'm just looking to see if there's any way I can serve him. And then if I can, I can. So yeah, your entry into the gate is through the mortgage protection realm, but you're just looking, like we said, to check them off. If we can, I can't help them. But yeah, so that's what I say something similar. Hey, that's perfect. Congratulations. Most people, one of the things I love, whenever anyone gives an objection, put them in a category. That's perfect. Yeah, most of the people in your situation, they're really glad to know that you don't have to have a current mortgage to get these programs. And my job is just to get it to you, but you'll be able to see why some people do look at this. Like I said, I'll take about, if you're not looking into it, it's fine, 5 minutes. It'll save me some time, but I do got to check you off. What time do you and your wife normally get home? I don't even go through the rest of the script. All I'm trying to do at that point is get in the appointment. And if I can't help them, I can't help them. If it literally takes 5 minutes, beautiful, lead resolve. So anyway, Anna, go ahead and finish what you were saying if you still have it.
Oh, you're good. Rosa, what was your other one? You said I got my mortgage already.
The other one I was kind of thinking of is when they ask you like, well, wait a minute, what company are you with? Or are you with my mortgage company? Kind of like I kind of like when I do it, I go back through exactly what I had just said. Like, you know, I'm calling in regards to this form that you filled out back when you guys closed on your loan. But then they're like, well, I need to make sure, you know, who are you with?
Okay. So I'm going to tell you right now, that's going to go all back to setting the table. It's your confidence in your approach. The reason why you're getting that objection is because the way that you're presenting it is you need more posture. That's at the end of the day. If anybody is objecting to who you are on the phone, it's because you personally are not leading with the confidence of who you are. One of the reasons why age mortgage protection is my absolute favorite type of lead, and I can book age mortgage all day long, is because when I started dialing them, you know, because I'm a little baby, I was scared to death because I was like, man, these people are going to be so mean. They're going to be so annoyed that I'm calling because they're aged and blah, 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 right? They've already had a million conversations. But as I started talking to these people, I realized, you know what? This is perfect timing, because right when they close on their loan, they are like slaughtered, seriously, with all sorts of propaganda, right? All sorts of information. I am catching them at that prime time, the prime time that they already took care of it, which means I can take care of it better for them, right? So they already see the value, and or they were too busy or they were too overwhelmed. Man, they just bought a house. They just refinanced, right? They just came into a bunch of money. They just saved a bunch of money, or they just bought a home. Like, that's a really overwhelming situation or a really exciting situation. They don't necessarily want to take the time right then, but 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, that burden of that home is starting to weigh on them. Those monthly payments, the higher payments or whatnot, they're starting to weigh on them. I'm calling at a prime time. So Rosa, in your mind, really connect with the fact that this is prime time that you're hitting these people, and you are the professional getting back to them. And if they question, who are you calling with? I'm just following up about that information that you requested. You filled out a form and requested some information. You don't need to question me. I don't say that, right? But I'm just following up. So when you're going against or rebuttaling them, so to speak, you're saying the right words, but just focus on how your whole presentation on how you're saying it, that yes, you're a prime time to help this person right now, and you're going to help them right now. And you have the confidence to do that. Does that make sense?
What do you say? I want to hear it. So let me say it. So who are you? Who are you with? No, I'm talking to you, Rosa. So I want to hear what you're saying right now.
Oh, go ahead, Rosa.
Okay, so like it's kind of,
are you with a mortgage
probably
company?
My first paragraph. So I'll be like, hey, you know, this is Rose. I'm just getting back with you in regards to your mortgage with Guild Mortgage. You may not remember this, but back when you closed on your loan, you guys had filled out a form requesting some information about paying off that mortgage in the event of a death or a disability. So we just did this audit and showing no one ever got you these options out to you. So I just need to verify everything y'all had put down is correct. I have your address as, 123 Main Street.
So wait, are you with our mortgage company?
No, so back when you guys closed on your loan, y'all had filled out a form. So I'm calling in regards to the form you guys filled out requesting that information. And again, I have your address as 123 Main Street. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Mac,
Okay.
right there, Rosa, right there. I would have stopped. I would have said, Mac, great question. All mortgage protection is third party.
Yeah, there we go.
regardless
I think
PMI.
that's where you lost it. That's where you lost your confidence, because you didn't answer the question. You deflected it, which is what we normally do, but you did it in a way that if I'm listening to you right now, it felt weak. It felt like you were running scared. It felt like you were hiding something. And that's just the way not what you were saying, but the way it felt. It felt like you didn't have any authority. Like when I said, I hit him hard. I said, no, so I don't want to say the word no. I hate the word no. So
Yeah,
build
don't
the
say
way.
no.
Yeah, don't say no. So build actually your mortgage company legally cannot do this. And so that's why I'm calling you. We are the ones that get all the forms that people fill out. Case
And
closed.
I would also throw in there, everybody, well, 90% of the people that own a home know what PMI is. And if you don't know what PMI is, look it up. They know what PMI is. We do not do PMI, right? But if you throw that in there, it gives you a little bit of authority because they're like, oh, that makes sense. So I would just follow it up with, if they say, who are you with? Hey, are you with my mortgage company? Rosa, actually all mortgage protection, even PMI, they all go through third party. So we're actually the people that receive that information when you fill out the form. And so we have to verify what you put down is correct before we're able to send the information out. I have your address as.
Bam. Trumped. Did you feel the difference in that, Rose?
Yeah, dude, Anna is a boss. Like, she's so smooth. Everything I've ever heard her do is just super solid. I love to hear it. Thank you very much.
So I would practice. I mean, practice with your husband, practice. And what you're practicing on is, I want him to be honest with you and say, okay, did that feel like I took control, or did it feel like I was kind of running scared? And if you practice, I promise you, people can feel the difference. So Anna's right. If people kind of get skittish, it's because you didn't take control. But no, good question. Any others? Let's throw them out. I know we're going a little late. Like I said, if you got to go, but what objections are you getting? And we're not experts, but you're going to hear them so much. There will be the same objection. It's either not interested, call me back, I already took care of it. I didn't fill it out. I mean, that's about it. You gotta be like a machine. You know exactly what to say as you go through.
And I would literally, and we talked about having a workout partner. If you haven't created a workout partner yet, and you want to role play with Mac and I. Take 5-10 minutes, role play with Mac and I. We will role play with you guys any day of the week. Role play with your workout partner every day. You guys should have a time where you take 5 minutes and you run through the scripts together. How did I sound here? How did I sound there? If you get an objection in a home that you don't know what to do with, write it down and then text your workout partner at the end of the day. Hey, I got this objection. How would you answer that? Or text it to me or text it to Mac. To be honest with you, half of what I say, I would just make up, but you're going to find that once you start writing those objections down, you're going to get the same ones over and over and over. And before anybody else throws any objections, and Mac, let's just cover the last two, because I know people have gotten those as well. I already have it. If you guys haven't gotten that one yet, you're going to get it 1,000 times.
You will.
So if somebody tells me I already have it, I love those appointments. And I'll tell you why. I used to be scared of them. I'm scared of everything, apparently. I used to be scared of them, not scared of them in the sense like I would lose my confidence in the call when I heard they already had it, because I'm like, crap, they already have it. You know, we've lost this appointment. And I was dialing for Mac for a Colorado trip. I remember this so clearly. And a woman, she was so nice on the phone. Like, she was just the biggest sweetheart. Remember that gal, Mac, who's
Joan Acosta. Yep, I remember her.
Yeah. And she already had a policy. I didn't know what to say, right? So I was just throwing stuff out there like, perfect, we'll just get you a free consultation then. We'll have Mac review your policy totally for free on us, just to make sure if you have any questions, you know, like I'm going way too deep into it because I didn't know what to say. And he ends up going to this woman's house and he looks at her policy, and she thought she had like this great coverage, and it ended up being only accidental. And she thought like she was protected to the nines, right? And he was able to go through this policy with her and point out, this is what you really have. And he's done that hundreds of times since then, where he's helped people who have had policies with other carriers, help them find their policy, understand their policy, get their policy, and then he adds to it because they are willing to allow him to become their agent at that point, because he's provided that value. The power in that, I was like, holy cow, like, we're not duping people. We actually have a better product. We have potentially a cheaper product with a better outcome, right? Or they don't even have what they think they have, or they have an increasing product, or whatever the case may be. And that solidified for me right there, boom. I don't care if you already have it. So if somebody says to me, I already have it, I'm like, perfect, I'm just gonna put you down for a free consultation. Or
let me
I
throw
use
a
the
plug
word
in
perfect.
there. Anna, I'm gonna let you give the exact phraseology, but she's done. Oh, she goes perfect. I'll just go ahead and set you up for a fee review. And man, make sure you touch base about it, Anna, on what you say as far as updates since the change in the whatever happens. But I've gone in and I see on my little appointment review, I go in with the open. I guess I don't ever go into an appointment with expectations. I have no expectations. When I go into a day, I don't think, oh, I'm gonna make $5,000 today, 10 grand today. Literally, I don't even care. Like, I'm going in to serve the client, period. If it's a $2 a month sale, so be it. I serve the client. It's simply not gonna be, right? So don't go with any expectations when you're gonna do a review. You literally are just reviewing it. But I've done it enough now that Anna has set when she was dialing for me that, man, you really, because of our broker status and because of what we have, not only what you know, but you guys are going to be in the home, you'll call us for help. You'll let us know, hey, I'm with this client. Because of what I know, I can look at an angle. If you wrote all the information down, which is, again, another training for another day, when you do a financial inventory, make sure you put the facts in there. How much they make, what policies they, how much they paying. If I can see that, I can give you an angle where they have value. I have people that had a policy, they weren't going to pay more. Like, I'll send the call out to you guys on the group. The guy I talked to did a telesale. He told me, oh no, I got a better. He was going to get $50,000 for $75 a month. He goes, that's it. He ended up going with me $94 a month because I sold him on value. He was paying more money out, but it was better product. So anyway, all I'm trying to say is there is power in doing reviews. And I used to be like, and I felt defeated if they had it. But when someone has a policy already, you should be praising God because they see a value in insurance. They already know they should get it. All you need to do is see if you can serve them better. And there are a lot of rookie agents who don't follow our system. They just go and write some crap policy, whereas we can look and say, hey, here's what we can do for you, so forth and so on. So Anna, go ahead and touch on the actual phraseology. How do you set up a review, and what exactly do you say?
Okay. And when I book that, just understand with 100% integrity, guys, when you are the salesperson going into that home, if you're booking a review, if you cannot beat their policy, leave them with confidence that they have a fabulous policy, even though you made zero. Because if you learn how to do great referrals, right? If you learn how to ask for referrals, and that's something that we'll touch on, down the road as we continue to train, you can become their agent for life, even though you did not sell them a policy.
Yeah.
So go in with 100% ethical integrity that if you cannot leave them with a better position, you're not going to just for the sake of a commission. I understand we all got rent to pay. I get it 1,000%, but I promise you that will beat 100% of the time, having that integrity, because they will know you're there to truly serve them and you're not trying to serve yourself. Cool.
Anna?
So yeah, go ahead, Wendell.
So I just have a question with that. Like last month when I was first starting to deal with mortgage protection, I had a few where I did policy reviews, but I wasn't confident enough with the products that we offered. And when I saw that they had a policy that wasn't accidental, it was like it covered everything, but maybe they were paying a little bit high. I didn't have enough confidence to tell them that I could do better. I feel like I told them that they had a good policy because I wasn't so confident or knowledgeable in the products. What do you suggest for people that are getting started and they don't know what all the costs are for a good mortgage protection plan, and they're looking at a policy and they're a little bit overwhelmed with the information in front of them?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Wendell. When you leave, so you guys should always be evaluating your appointments in your day. So when you leave that appointment, take notes. What was that policy? You should have, like Max said, if you fill out that financial inventory, you should be writing on that financial inventory. Who are they currently with? What is the face amount? What are they paying for? What riders do they have, right? Because what you can do is a month later, 2 months later, right? And make sure you leave that appointment with confidence. Just because you don't have the confidence to sell them something better, let them know they have a great policy and educate them on their policy, right? And then a month or two down the road, if you find out, I really could save this person money, I really think I could, call them and tell them. If you can get a hold of them, great. If you can't, great. But make the effort to call and tell them and let them know that, hey, we actually just brought on the carrier that I might be able to get you approved for, Wendell. I'd really like to try, because if I could, we could actually double your face amount, or we could actually lower your monthly payment. would it be beneficial for you to save, you know, $25, $30 a month on a fixed income? Would that help you?
Can I throw in a plug on there real quick? My follow-up game is weak, and so the likelihood of me coming back is probably very little. So the way if I was good and very organized, I would follow what she said. I'm not. So that is the value of the system we have. The whole goal is for us to be your field underwriters. If you do a good job at calling in the home, we should be able to at least get you in a position where we can say, just sell this policy. And if they get approved, it'll be better for them. We'll give you some selling points. But the whole long term, you're going to have to get better. Here's one phrase I use. Awesome. Let me go ahead and see that policy so I can add it to my producer report. And mind if I just go ahead and take a picture so I can add that to my producer report? Take a picture of the first 5 or 6 pages of a policy, tell you what the policy does. When I first started, I had no idea what it did. So I took pictures of it and I sent the policy with the financial inventory to Joe. And he was able to read enough. But over time, I started the first 5 pages, read it. Like, if you don't have a policy yourself, get one and read it. Like, be a student of your own industry. Kobe played ball all the time. He knew all that stuff, right? You are in insurance, study it. So you should know what writers are. If you don't know what they mean, that's shame on you. Like the first time, no problem. But if it happens more than twice, you are not being a student of your own industry. So over time, you'll learn, but until you do, just be good at actually getting the information and letting your field underwriters be the one to help you. Now, I got to give a little plug to Wendell. He's one of the few, him and Raul, actually, no, I guess that's about everybody, but Wendell does it the most. After, you know, if he's been getting certain objections, Wendell calls, he goes, hey, I've been getting this objection. What would you say instead? So he's being a student of his industry. So I hope that answers your question, Wendell. Use your field underwriters, right? If you have a situation, call us. Additionally, you need to start learning your craft, getting better and better.
Yeah, thank you so
much. The last one, guys. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and as new agents, as I'm contracting new agents, especially if they're coming from another industry, there's a lot of high anxiety because, you know, they need to learn all the products. They need to, you know, especially since we are brokers, so we contract you with so many carriers. So there's so much anxiety that they have to know so much information. That's not the case. You don't have to know everything. You just have to have true intention, right?
Right.
And be honest. You know, I know Wendell and I were having a conversation the other day. If there's a situation where you're like, you know what, I don't know the answer to that, you will earn more respect by saying, hey, you know what, I don't know the answer to that. Or, you know what, let me verify. I believe I know where I need to put you, but let me put in a call to my senior underwriter one moment, or let me text him real quick, rather than trying to BS something. And make sure, on the other hand, when you guys do that financial inventory, if they do have a policy in place, make sure you know that either the Genie, or if you're sending it to Mac or somebody else, make sure they know that you are highlighting that and they know that when you're sending it over, so that way they can do apples comparison to be able to advise you on the correct thing.
All right, guys, the last one is I already have it. I already have an appointment with someone. Just understand, the way I see it, the philosophy behind it is I'm going to still try to book the appointment because I cannot vouch for Joe Schmo. I don't know, maybe whoever they got an appointment with, maybe they just got in the industry and they're not like me. They don't want to serve the client. They're looking for a buck. All I can vouch for is what I will do, right? So, Anna, have you ever had that where someone says, I already have an appointment with someone? And if so, what do you say? If you haven't, I have, and I'll answer it.
I haven't had that. No, we just talked about what you and I would role play.
All right, so I had that happen. I'll send the call in, same guy, he had something, he had an appointment with someone in the future. That's perfect. And so I asked him, so how many of these forms did you send out? So or you must have sent a couple of these forms out, right? Mm-hmm. So perfect, Wendell. So my job is to get you the information because, and then get you checked off so you don't get these calls anymore. Now here, I don't know who you're going to speak with. My specialty is making sure that we can help you, not hurt you, but regardless of what happens, I want to make sure you can get the information. When do you have that appointment? And they say Wednesday. Okay, here's what we're going to do. You hear that? How I took control of the call? Here's what we're going to do. Just so you can have enough information to evaluate, to make sure you're making the best decision for yourself. Let's go ahead and book an appointment, since I'll be there anyway. It'll be about 5, maybe 10 minutes to go over the information that you can qualify for. And then when you have the appointment, you'll have something to compare against, because we're actually going to go through what you can actually qualify for versus just random numbers. So are you normally home in the morning or in the afternoon? Right? Just book it. Book it anyway. Sean Mike tells a story, and it's not uncommon for you to have them to send multiple forms, but the philosophy is you don't know who Joe Schmo is, you know who you are. Create a sense of urgency, fear of loss. You're always, let me squeeze you in. If they say, I'm available at 3, I always say, I don't have a 3, but I have a 3:15, because I'm going to trump you. You're busy, but I'm busier. Because if you just, they say I'm available at 3, or you say something like, my calendar is wide open. What time do you want? Well, how valuable is your time, right? When you're going to get something to eat, do you want to go to the restaurant that is always packed and people are always buzzing about it, or the one that barely has anyone in the parking lot, right? But when you're busy, it tells them that you're not going to waste their time, and they're not going to sit there for 2 hours, and you're a professional and you're good at what you do. So you're always that sense of urgency. I don't have a 3, but I got a 3:15 to 4:15. And guess what I'll do? I'll show up at 3 anyway, right? That's about it, guys. Book your appointments back to back real quick. Book your appointments every hour, because you're going to build forgiveness into your schedule. Don't book them an hour and a half apart, because even if you book 10 appointments in a day, I've never had it where everyone shows up. Even the guy that sold the number one in the country in FFL, he's never had it where everyone shows up. So here's what happens. You go to one appointment and you'll be about 30 minutes late. Don't ever call, don't ever text, just show up. And then what'll happen is someone will not show, and then you'll be back on track anyway. So that's it. Last thought in, and we're going to go ahead and shut this off. We've gone way over.
Yeah, unless you guys have a couple questions, we're happy to stay on, answer questions for those people that want to straggle. I just wanted to make a couple comments real quick. Mac had mentioned, if somebody said that I already have an appointment, told you I have an appointment with somebody. My first thought is, like Mac said, I can't vouch for that person. I don't know what they would sell them. I only know what I can do or what Mac can do. So my response would be, perfect, Mac, that's why I'm calling, so we can go ahead and reschedule that appointment. And move it up closer. I know it's important to you, so we can move it up closer. I've got an opening on Tuesday or Wednesday. Which day would work better for you? I'm not saying that I'm.
I want to see the first guy first, see what he has to say first, and then if I don't like what he says, then I'll talk to you.
Perfect. That's exactly why I'm calling. So as far as first guy, when is he coming?
He's coming on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would just go back into what Mac was saying. If they. So when I talk to somebody, again, they're not really stuck on, just understand, when you make appointments, and most of you who have been to appointments or made appointments get this, they're not stuck on meeting with one specific person. I want to meet with Joe from this company, because they don't know Joe from that company any more than they know you from this company. So it's all in your posture. So if you come in with confidence and love and service and all of that, it's all in your posture, and you're able to take that. But at the end of the day, just remember, it comes down to the posture, and it comes down to, you're really there to just serve them, and you can only vouch for you. The other thing I want to touch on that we didn't talk about, just real quick, guys, it's so important. Everybody wants to buy, but nobody wants to be sold. When you are getting objections over the phone, do not get into sales mode. It is not the time to sell a policy. It is not the time to talk about the benefits of a policy. It is not the time to tell them how much better your policy or your carrier or this or that is going to be so much better than what they have. It is not the time to tell them the benefits that you are able to offer them as a broker, or as, with all these amazing things that you can do for them. You are only trying to book an appointment. Do not switch to sales mode. They don't know you. They don't want to buy from you at that moment. Now, this doesn't apply to one call closes, of course. But understand, your job is just to circle back around and lead that horse to water. Bat the objection out of the way, and politely, respectfully, bat the objection out of the way and lead the horse back to the water of the appointment. Do not get into, well, let me tell you why you want to meet with me. They don't want to meet with you. So you explaining why they do doesn't help them. What you want to do is get them over that objection and get them back to the water. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Awesome.
Hannah, we're going to hit this last one and we're done, guys. 10:20. I give you permission to go ahead and go. I would go too. I probably wouldn't, but just going to close this one out. How to get out of dialing. Your exit plan. Is it always going to be like this? Anna, go ahead and hit these last couple of slides and then we'll be done by 10:25, whether we're through it or not.
Are you pulling up slides, babe?
That's it. This is it.
Okay. Oh, there's no slide pulled up. I'll just go ahead and start. Okay, so dialing. Whether it's your favorite or not, there is always options out of dialing. And it's not necessarily building an agency. You don't necessarily, if you want to be a sales machine and that's it, that's awesome. There are dialers that you can hire. There are, you got it? Sorry, it's coming up now. So you can hire your dialing out to make appointments for you. Do not do that until you're a master dialer. Understand, hiring a dialer is an investment. Just like you had to learn how to dial, most dialers have to learn how to dial as well. So you have to be able to invest enough in yourself, in your business, in them, and in leads to get everybody in the right place. So it's not something where you're like, hey, I can have a dialer. Yes, you can, but that's a down the road. And when you master your craft.
You can't train someone on something that you can't do yourself.
No, there's no way you can coach somebody when, I mean, how are you going to tell them how to get past objections? How are you going to tell them how to use your voice? How are you going to tell them? Never handle, I mean, your dialing is your baby. It's 90% of your business, right? There is nothing that dialing and making more appointments won't solve. You can dial yourself out of a bad day. You can dial yourself out of a bad week, but just by making more appointments, right? Get more leads. When it comes to lead flow, you need to buy leads every single week. I want to be very clear that Mac and I do not make money off of you buying leads. That's not how our system is set up.
Neither does FFL. FFL doesn't make money from buying leads.
No, they don't. It is a third party. FFL actually goes out and they do everything they can to get you the best price on leads. They are truly about the family. And I say that because I know some companies are set up that way. We do not make a dime. So if I am telling you to buy more leads because you are trying to hit certain goals, it's because you need to buy more leads. It is not because I'm trying to pad my pocketbook. Very clear, okay? You need to buy leads every week. Do not get stuck in the rut that, well, I had a bunch that didn't answer on Monday, so I'm just going to call them again on Thursday. No, you need fresh. You need fresh. Yeah, you can call those when you got downtime, but you need fresh to keep going, okay? Endless lead flow. In the beginning, guys, when you are, high anxiety, low experience, low knowledge, you're way up here, right? And then you're going to come, it's kind of like this, where they cross, and all of a sudden you have high experience and low anxiety. But that's a process. And so in that process, you need to understand when you're here, high anxiety, low knowledge, you are going to be investing more in your business with time and money than you are going to be getting in return. And how fast that goes, that's everybody's different, right? So expect that in the beginning that you should be investing 60 to 70% of your commission back into buying leads. And it's going to be different for everybody. How much they need to buy, you should. If you're dialing Monday and Thursday, you should have 150 leads for Monday, 150 leads for Thursday on average, right? And when you get those commissions, invest them back in. And people say, well, I've got bills I've got to pay. I've got rent I've got to pay. Guys, you never want to build on commission breath because believe it or not, people can smell it. It doesn't smell good, right? It takes the service out of the heart. So if you are struggling financially, remember what we talked about, this is a trade. You were going to school and you couldn't pay your school bills, what would you do? You'd go and get a part-time job. You'd go and get a full-time job. Make this a professional opportunity for you and set yourself up for success. The endless lead flow, if you constantly invest in leads from the commissions that you get, you will get to a point where you have so much money set aside for leads, you don't ever have to worry about leads again. Where you'll know every single week you've got a free lead flow coming in because you've got your little nest egg that continues to build. And as you build that investment for your leads in your savings account or wherever you keep it, then you can lower the amount that you take from your commissions to put back into your lead flow, right? But in the beginning, you want a high dollar amount to ensure that you have enough leads to keep your business going. McDonald's would not only invest in 5 hamburgers, right? They'd invest in hundreds to ensure they had more food than the people coming in. Because the worst thing you can do to your business, I don't care what kind of business it is run out of inventory. So the bottom line is, guys, it's a process. It is a learned skill. Everybody comes in at different stages with different experience. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. This is your journey, your experience, but allow yourself the honor and the respect of treating it like a professional experience. Like you're going to make this and you're going to learn and you're going to grow, and give yourself, educate your expectations and give yourself the time that you need to come out on top. Whatever that looks like for you, whatever your goals are, educate your expectations so you personally can succeed. So keep learning, keep sharpening that axe, guys. Next week, come back this Thursday, and we are going to get better at honing the time. I know it's super late, but you guys are rock stars for sticking on. We've got majority of people here still with us, which is incredible. I commend each and every one of you because I know it's late and I know it's a lot of time out of your week, but it will fill the bucket 100%. So come back next week. In the meantime, I'm going to challenge each and every one of you, reach out and find a workout partner. And so that way you have somebody to bounce off of. Try to find somebody better than you. And especially when we go to convention, your workout partner does not need to be in this circle. When you are at convention next week, find somebody better than you, connect with them, right? Get to know people, ask them questions. If they're doing 10,000 a month and you're doing 5,000 a month, get their number, pick their brain. If they're doing 20 and you're doing 10, get their number, pick their brain, get your workout partner, right? So that way you can build your level of success as well. And with that, you guys, I'll turn it back over to Mac. You guys have been incredible. If you have questions, you want to role play at any time, seriously, let's role play. That's what we're here for. Let's do it for 5 or 10 minutes. It doesn't need to be hours on end.
All right,
Back to
guys.
you, babe.
Take care. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Let me know if you can be of any help. Let's go dial, run, buy, dial, and run. Take care, guys.